Roaming round tonight, you by my side. Nothing compares to this. I cannot lie, wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch, I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Your trouble, I can sense it so deep down. Down. If we could put it all on me, baby. If we're gonna roll it up, then maybe, this is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know. Lost at you, there's no looking back. Thought you might have left me in the past. Losing control of this. You love it, I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Your trouble, I can sense it so deep down. If we could put it all on me, baby. If we're gonna roll it up, then maybe, this is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know. I need to know now. 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 Need to know now. I need to know now. I need to know. Roaming round tonight, you by my side. Nothing compares to this. I cannot lie, wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch, I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Your trouble, I can that you, there's no looking back. Thought you might have left me in the past. Losing control of this. You love it, I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Yeah, your trouble, I can sense it so deep down, so deep down. If we're gonna put it all on me, baby, if we're gonna run it up, then baby, this is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know now. 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 Need to know now. I need to know now. I need to know roaming round tonight, you by my side. Nothing compares to this. I cannot lie, wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Your trouble, I can sense it so deep down, down. If we're gonna put it all on me, baby, if we're gonna run it up, then baby, this is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know now. Lost at you, there's no looking back. Thought you might have left me in the past. Losing control of this. You love it, I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Yeah, your trouble, I can sense it so deep down, so deep down. If we're gonna put it all on me, baby, if we're gonna run it up, then baby, this is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know now. 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 Need to know now. I need to know now. I need to know. Roaming round tonight, you by my side. Nothing compares to this. I cannot lie, wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in and sing no way out. Wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in, see no way out. Your trouble, I can sense it so deep down. Down. If we could put it all on me, baby. If we're gonna run it up, then baby, baby. This is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know. Lost at you, there's no looking back. Thought you might have left me in the past. Losing control of this. You love it, I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in, see no way out. Your trouble, I can sense it so deep down. If we could put it all on me, baby. If we're gonna run it up, then baby, baby. This is all a dream. Who knows? We'll see. If we're gonna do this right, then I need to know. I need to know now. I need to know now. I need to know. Roaming round tonight, you by my side. Nothing compares to this. I cannot lie. Wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch. I wanna dive right in, see no way out. Your trouble, I can sense it so deep down. Down.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Are we? There we go. Okay. All right, we back, and I think y'all can hear me now. Let me double and triple check, child. Yes, y'all can hear me. Okay, great. Wait, is the background music still going? Oh no, I don't want that to keep playing, child. There we go. Okay. All right, we back. Hey y'all. Welcome in. I'm sorry that I'm late. Child, your girl is going through. Like, y'all know that my grandfather passed at the top of the year, and I actually 2 weeks ago now just had a cousin pass, so I am preparing to go to another funeral. So today has been a very rough day, but I am really excited to get on here and talk about this episode, because this episode has been really, really, really good and a great distraction from all of the very real feelings and things that I have going on a personal level. So I'm happy. I'm very, very happy to be here with y'all. There's a lot to unpack. And the same way, right, that I am very forthcoming about Courtney Kemp converting me to being a Tariq St. Patrick fan, And, you know, now all of a sudden, I like and root for Jordan Baker. I don't think I'm ever going to get on board with like and use within my vernacular the word vortex. But if you're going to do a vortex, it feels like this is actually how you do it. And I would much rather call it a little romantic as square, because I hate the term vortex and all that has come with and the trauma that they have exposed us to with it. But it feels like if you're going to do some mess, if you're going to do some mess with some love, this is actually how you do it. How's everybody feeling? Let me know what y'all thought about the episode in the chat. Shout out to Kofi, John, Kimberly, Brittany, Money Green, Tay, Kay. All of y'all are already in the chat. Let me refresh real quick because I don't know what's going on with this. But I don't want to miss out on anybody's stuff. Drop y'all's ratings. I do think that this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a really good chat. And I cannot wait to keep it going. Kofi, you at work? When you get off work? Cause how we not gonna hear Kofi's giggling and whatnot? Cause his boy, Kofi, you had plenty to giggle off of. I know that you was just, you know, over there rubbing your feet together and rubbing your hands together like Birdman. This episode had a little bit of something for everybody, and I'm like trying to let myself just go with it, right, y'all? I want to go with it. But also, I don't want to get too excited because the moment I get too excited, that's when they start to humble my ass. Like, what? I haven't even been able to give y'all my breakdown yet because my breakdown has been like in my thoughts. Like, I rewatched this episode 3 times. And I have like such specific thoughts, and I'm like, I need this breakdown to not just be a little, not like any of my breakdowns are like throwaways, but like a lot of times I really just get on here and just say how I feel. I want to be so clear and so concise and so specific. And part of the experience of this episode that I will say on my part was very discombobulating for me as an audience member in the best way, because it drew up feelings of confliction in reference to like, whose side are you picking? Who are you actually rooting for? Ain't nobody really wrong except for maybe Tori, because girl. So it's not as cut and dry as my previous, or at least for me in reference to how I feel about it. My thoughts around the episode are not as cut and dry as they have been in the past. And it's just like, okay, I want to make sure I do that justice when I come in and do the actual breakdown. So y'all, keep putting your ratings. I'm about to read the ratings. Let me make sure I update this chat real quick so that we can see what y'all saying. Here we go. And y'all don't mind my little dusty forehead. Today is Ash Wednesday. It's the beginning of Lent. And your girl, so like if y'all see I'm slow to respond on social, it's because I have given up scrolling on my phone for Lent. So I will not be accessing social media apps on my phone. Of course, it's a part of my, oh wait, hold on. It's echoing, hold on. Of course, it's a part of my job. Wait, let me fix this for y'all. Okay, the echo should be gone. Of course, it's a part of my job, so I'm going to do it like from my computer or from my iPad. But to stop me from doing a little doom scrolling on TikTok and the doom scrolling on Instagram, I have given it up and given it to the Lord, child. So I'm going to be less active on socials, and I'm only going to get on there to really post. And that's when I'll be able to see some people's messages. But for the most part, I probably won't be responding back to you guys really quickly because I won't be on there from my phone. Should have been fixed now. Echo gone, John? Echo gone? It should be gone. And I think y'all can hear me now. Let me double and triple check. I'll be able to see some people's messages. Yes, the echo's gone. Okay. Not Tori pissed me off. Donna, Tori pissed you off? I didn't expect for Tori to be as thirsty as Tori was decided to be, especially after she had clocked all the other little Beverly babes in their thirst. Like, girl, if you was one of them, you should have also just said you was one of them. Ugh. Okay. John says Khalil just needs to bury his dad. Not okay, John. I'm gonna need you to reel it in. I'm gonna need you to reel it in this season. We actually have a solid season of television. No more wild ass, running off with the random ass thoughts. Reel it in, John. Please reel it in. Hey, Jess Danielle. Hey, Kimberly Felder. Hey, the Lawrence Report. Lawrence, no. Vortex Gang, absolutely not. We got to come up with our own name for the square. Because while I get what they're doing in theory, the Vortex, I think, will forever be banned. I gave them an inch, and they trying to take them out. I gave them an inch with now being Team Jordan Baker. That's already a lot. They are not getting the Vortex. We need another name. We need to volunteer another name as tribute. Jada gave this episode a 9. Hyacinth gave this episode a 7 out of 10. Jess Danielle says it was cute and Khalil's father is working my nerves. He's working everybody's nerves in the best way, though. He is so perfectly cast. Like, I need to reach out to old boy because I need to interview him and I need to talk to him and I need to understand, like, all of the intricate details of, like, bringing Marquis to life because he's doing it beautifully. He's doing it beautifully. Oh, masterful. Kay gave it a 9 out of 10. He said, I loved it. John says the little vortex thing, he doesn't seem the same because it seems like how this was supposed to be. First of all, you got to also remove siblings out the damn vortex. Like, let's start there. The fact that nobody is blood related, already we're ahead of the game. Okay, we're already ahead of the game. Coop scenes kept this from being a 10. Ooh, they trying to make fetch happen with this lady, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way now, and I'm not gonna spend too much time in it because one of the things that I don't really like to do, but it feels natural because it's a thought, and I try to share all of my thoughts, my honest, unbridled, like, thoughts of, like, how I feel about the episode in the hopes of, like, maybe, you know, somebody else is thinking it and they want to feel validated or affirmed and, like, yeah, it's not just you, okay? So I'm never saying this to come down on the artists and, like, you know, belittle the artist, but I am struggling with the law professor. This episode is stuck out more than the previous ones, but Miss Mama's, the way that she was talking, it sounded like she was reading lines. It sounded like she had a cadence that she had rehearsed and she had practiced and she stuck to that cadence, and it doesn't feel like natural talk, and it stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Aside from me not even really being on board with this whole storyline, or Coop potentially falling into this opportunity to cheat on Patience, who's gone and living her best life on Broadway after y'all done broke up and you done got back together, you done realized that she was actually the one for you, and it only takes a little light-skinned, tall law professor to get you now not even realizing that you walking your ass into infidelity. But then also the law professor's performance is not strong, specifically in how she's delivering a dialogue. Like, again, I watched this episode 3 times and her scenes were the worst to, like, try to consume because it's literally, like, I was almost getting to the point where I could pinpoint, like, on an iambic pentameter of, like, she's talking to a certain beat and it doesn't feel natural and it feels very, very weird to me. So I ain't disagreeing when it says, like, the Coop scenes kind of stopped the episode from being a 10. K-Ray, hey boo, how are you? I haven't seen you in forever. Yeah, so I would agree. Even though I did enjoy Coop in this episode, to me, the law professor is the biggest area of opportunity for the Coop scenes. Kendra gave this episode a 9. Jada gave this episode a 7. Oh, you get off work at 7. Okay. All right, we'll see you back, Jada. Kimberly gave this episode a 9. Donna gave it an 8. Janelle gave it an 8. Kofi said a 9.5. Great episode. You don't get off until 9, Kofi. Lord have mercy. K-Ray said a solid 8 or a 9. It's so good to see you in here, K-Ray. I miss you. John says an 8 out of 10 because Coop was useless. Dang, Coop was useless? Useless. Hey, Kenny gave it a 10 out of 10 officially. You have a favorite character. Okay, well then do tell, Buki. Do tell. Justin Danielle says, I know Amina misses her mom, but her mom was a monster and knew very well she had a brother who was a miss. But she has a right to miss her. You know, multiple things can be true. Khalil and KJ are neck and neck for me right now. Neck and neck, Kimberly. Oh, what a difference a week and a half made, bro. Like, what? Brittany gave it a 7. Destiny Hapel gave it a 7.5. Micah says this episode got me jumping ship. I'm standing 10 toes down on the KJ Amina ship. See, it got all of us. It got all of us. Because I was literally like, wait. And y'all know this is where we're going to talk about it. Let me hurry up and get through all these that go ratings so I can catch up in real time. I'm behind. I'm sorry, y'all. I want to read all y'all's comments, though. Khalil getting away from his dad. I cannot wait for him to do it. Nobody turns me down, Tori. As she's being turned down. Okay, so the one thing is like, Tori, you were never gonna be Layla, boo. I'm sorry, you ain't never gonna be Layla, honey. Okay, let me get ratings. Money Green Tay gave it an 8. K Ray says that Khalil's dad is a rapper in real life, dope music, and he once I saw him and he was playing someone from the street. I said this is gonna be good. He's in Step Up. Oh, really? I remember his face, but I couldn't place where I had seen him and like what stuff. And now I'm like a fan, so I'm gonna be tuning in. You love the scene with KJ and Khalil in the locker room. It was so many scenes that I absolutely love. So, y'all, I'm actually going to open up the Discord now because it's not even like I don't even have a order of business or what I want to talk about first or nothing. Like, I really just want to unpack it all. And wherever the conversation goes or wherever the conversation goes, let me go ahead and get this. I didn't realize my Discord wasn't open, so I'm working on it, y'all. KJ and Amina chemistry is it. But she also has really great chemistry with Khalil. Amina is going to stress me out low key. Like, Micah, I know that we said that Amina needed to have a story. And they did not hit us with the here damn. Because Miss Mama's is complicated, bro. And then they also, when I really think about it, they didn't even take the low-hanging fruit of like, they didn't take the low-hanging fruit of, you know, she doesn't really know her mom and then she has to make a decision. Because, you know, we've been talking about like, oh, wait, she's going to have to make a decision and she's going to resent Coop. Yada, 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 yada. This episode let me know that Miss Mamas knew who her mother was and she didn't give a damn. Which probably also lines up with how she's able to just see Khalil for all the goodness that he is. Meanwhile, preaches ass. I'm not supposed to be cussing during that either. Okay. Preacher's bumbleclot, no, Preacher's behind is doing entirely too much when it comes to Khalil, and he's making it worse. But with her having a clear understanding of who her mother was, I don't know, girl, about you actually righting her wrongs and fixing her story and her legacy, yada 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 yada. I don't know about all that, but you her daughter, so you gonna do what you gotta do. But that makes sense to me. Like her having a clear understanding of who her mom was in its entirety, right? So like we know her mostly as the menace, but she knows her mom mostly as the woman who was fighting the good fight in Philly for black folks, yada 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 yada. And she has that context. So they didn't even need to like go there. They wrapped all of that up in this episode and it's deeper than that. And I appreciate that. That was a good choice that I didn't see coming at all. Okay. Discord is open. Let me get y'all the link. Am I the only one to think that Preacher's doing entirely too damn much? Stop cursing, Erica. Golly. Okay. Hey, John. Hey, John. Can you hear me?
I think so.
How you feeling?
I'm great. It feels good to be back on the live because All American is back.
It's back. It's back. And you know what? They really kind of like saying, take that, Erica, because I was like, they ain't never gonna get back to here. And then look at me. Full blown all American crackhead again. Great.
We're back.
You want to add some thoughts about the episode, or what was your favorite part, or what's up?
I would say that even though, like, obviously, how do you call it? We talk about the whole thing of going back to, football and stuff like that, which I love this season has done. I love that, there was an episode, that explored the community. Because we had, most of the episodes, maybe like shows Amina's conflict with her trying to, grow up and be her own woman. KJ struggling, with his team. But, this is the first episode that we had where, like, it was more so that had to do with, like, being in the community, which I did like. I did like the episode because it had that. It had, a little bit of the drama with love and everything. And I don't know. It was just it was a really good, it was a good episode if we weren't going to be getting football.
They said, look, they winning. They only gonna really show y'all them when they messing up. They said they blowing people out 50-0. Here go a little montage. Now let's get into it. And I wasn't mad at it. And then also the previous episode they gave a little bit more football. Hey Kofi, I know you at work, so I wanted to get you in and so
I
that
love
you
that.
get
Kofi,
your
even
points
at
off.
work, he's still going to show up. But I will say that I did. Tori definitely kind of irritated me because it was the fact that she was trying, do the whole thing of like, with all the girls trying to thirst after KJ. And like she like tried to present herself as being like the friend trying to get her out of, trying to get KJ out of the situation. But I mean, up until now, there's been like no like indications from like KJ where as like to where like he's like to where Tori really has like how do you call it?
Basically, I peeped today that KJ is just a very charming, sexy little boy. And he be smiling at women. He just do. So you cannot really go off of like, oh, he's smiling at me and he's looking my way as if he's interested. Because in this episode, I think that they did a really great job, or at least the dude who plays KJ did a really great job of doing subtle nuances behind, who he is as a person and like how he shows up and being present, period. And like versus when he's actually into somebody. I think that he has a very subtle difference in how he looks at Tori versus how he looks at Amina. And that was very clear in this episode because we get to see them all in scenes together.
Oh, and that kind of brings up the whole the little fake boyfriend thing because
well, we're not gonna go to that because you started with Tori, but go ahead, Kofi.
Yeah.
Hey,
then do me a favor. When I start speaking, I need y'all to not speak so that you're not talking over my vocals, okay?
All right. Y'all can hear me clearly though, right?
Yes, we got you.
Yeah, we hear you, Kofi. Oh, your manager doesn't show up.
Yeah, weird not to see Jordan and Layla in this episode, but it was cool. Tori was doing a little bit too much for me. She was way too thirsty.
I think that's the thing. Honestly, I thought that she was cooler than this. I thought that she was like smoother than this. I think I'm disappointed. Not that she is so thirsty, but like I think I had her character pegged wrong.
Yeah, I know. I thought she was gonna give like in the first two episodes. You saw how she, I wouldn't say put him in place, but checked him when it came to the support. So I figured that's what her character is going to be, like somebody who's going to keep KJ on his toes and tell him what it is and what it ain't. But apparently, I guess because he's now shining on the football field, it's piqued her interest. So, but
and low key, like with the dialogue that they gave her at the top of it, right? Like when she swooped in to like help him because all the girls was like doing what they were doing when he had his little moment at Beverly. As a friend, she literally clocked all of Beverly Girls Tea, and like, yeah, they're just paying attention to you for the moment. And it's just like, but then you turn around and then you go over, like, so then you just put yourself in the basket with all the rest of them, so you're not actually any different.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah, and then accusing the old boy of being gay. Like what?
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Look, baby girl, you fly, but like pump the brakes a little bit, baby. Like, come on now, don't do
She
that
seems like
now.
one. She seems like one of those girls.
What's one of those
Yeah.
girls?
Oh, like I guess like you just don't show any. I guess because it's kind. I don't know. What was it, Kofi, or someone said in the thing like, "How dare you like deny me or decline me or whatever it was." Tori possibly. She don't
Oh,
know. She one of those girls that like she's so used to guys throwing themselves at her that's if they don't throw themselves at her, that's what she thinks they are.
Yeah, well, I don't know
well,
about
I
all
mean,
that,
she was
but
wrong
it just
earlier, so she 0 for
uh,
0 for 4 this whole episode. Lying about a dang on cousin, girl. Like, Tori,
yo,
are you not in Bados? Are you not in Bados,
yo,
girl?
that was
Don't even
diabolical. You could
question
have just been honest, bro. Like, if you wanted to see KJ, just say that. Don't make up no fake cousin. I see your game. I know what you doing. I know what you
Amina
doing.
clocked it immediately. Hey, Micah. Hey, Naya. Welcome in. We talking about Tori right now.
Yeah, literally the moment she said it, he was
Hold on,
like,
John.
"What cousin?"
Hey, y'all.
Y'all got any thoughts on Tori?
Oh,
No.
mm, you know,
She's like a clueless
You
playlist.
know, Beverly
I just
people.
don't know. Like, I don't know what to think about Girly right now because I don't know who she is. And I
Mm.
think anything that she's doing right now, I'm just like, okay, okay. It definitely was a lot this episode, and I'm just kind of like, okay. Like, I really don't have much because she just was doing a lot, and I don't know. Like, I need to see more, and I think maybe with her interaction with Khalil, I don't know if that's skipping ahead. I feel like that was the only moment where I was like, okay, girl, you seem a little bit normal, but
I'm going to that next.
okay, I'm sorry, but like it just
I'm going to Khalil's interaction with her next.
okay, because that was my point. I was trying to make my like with the KJ, it was a lot, and I just kind of feel like, girl, I don't know if you really like him or you just like the idea of him, but okay, girl, and
Ooh.
she got embarrassed multiple times, and that was her own doing. So I don't really know. I don't really know what to say about that other than, girl, we told you to chill out. The first time you tried to throw yourself at him in the closet or whatever that was, but I feel like with Khalil that was the only time where I was like, okay, girl, you seem a little bit just normal, a little bit more normal than you're giving. So I don't, the jury's out on Tori. I don't know who she's trying to be.
She tried to be the head
So
cheerleader with the
it's
head football
confusing.
player.
Nigel says, I
It,
respect Tori's game. She went after what she wants, but she definitely didn't have to assume KJ was swinging over the same seam
Yeah,
just because he wasn't going for it.
she swung out. She got hit when she got all 5 fouls and was sent out of the game because man, she was not on it.
I like. I guess you can't say it's out of character because we've only been like 5 episodes in, but it's very much out of character. Like like none of what she did the whole episode made any sense because you never felt like it felt like she was being a friend to KJ for the most part. I mean, she was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like one person that kind of humbled him almost every episode this season, and it's just like to see her do what she was doing all episode. It just it's like they wrote it that way to kind of bring the whole okay love triangle square whatever you want to call it, but it just felt out of character to me. It didn't feel
Mm.
like authentic because I didn't get any inkling that she liked him in that way, like at all.
KJ?
The love train.
John, I need you
That
to mute
Tori
while you're not speaking.
that Tori likes KJ, yeah.
I
That's
wouldn't say that.
interesting.
I wouldn't say that. There was definitely signs, but for me, I felt like the way that it was so subtle. Like I felt like she was interested in him from the first time she saw him. Even with the whole like he offended her, she was interested. But it felt like she was the girl who gets guys, so she was never pressed. And
Hmm.
to me it seems like she was 100% fine with it developing naturally, which is why she was able to move so comfortably with KJ, specifically at Beverly. So to get over to Crenshaw and you done made up a damn cousin, you done brought a bunch of things so that you can have him help you bring it into a place that like girl, what? It felt like a very weird shift. And I guess the catalyst for the shift was her visibly seeing that he's committed to like showing up for Amina, maybe because he does mention it, but I don't know if I can agree with like she was not interested at all, because it seemed like to me, yes, it would have been him for her.
Mm,
Yeah, I think going to Micah's point, I think that's like in terms of it seems out of character, but then also we don't have a good grasp on who Tori is as a character
Mm-hmm.
already. So this felt like a huge step back. And it's like, girl, we still don't even know who you really are and what you're trying to give. Like, I don't know if you're trying to give Layla, but it's not giving Layla. So that's why I almost don't
Oh,
even like to even have them in the same realm, because I don't know who she is. And I think I'm trying to figure it out. And this whole episode was just her taking big old swings KJ's way and falling on her butt. And I was just like, girl, chill out. So
And
I don't know.
the wild part about it though is it's like I think that KJ could have gotten to a place of being interested, but you literally went 0 to 60 out of
Yeah,
nowhere. Like you were
definitely.
quite literally one of probably behind. I mean, you're the next up in reference to his like confidence and foundation social wise in this new place. And now you done compromise that because you want to kiss all up on this man. While he
Yeah.
down here trying to show up for this girl and you know it. Like part of me is just like, dang, Tori, I thought you was smoother than that on a like just being self aware tip, but now this feels like you ain't even self aware, girl.
Yeah,
mm,
I was just about to say the self-awareness. Like like it felt like she was at least self-aware to like be able to kind of check him in those first couple of episodes just about him settling into Beverly. So you thought, okay, like you seem like you're self-aware to kind of know a little bit of who you are and like how to move around KJ in a way that's not thirsty. And it just felt like this episode, it was like, oh no, you have you have the capability of being
a
thirsty.
hundred
And I
percent.
didn't even think that was your game. And I think like with KJ, to your point, like he maybe could have gotten there, especially with the conversation he has with his dad about maybe he really just is a slow burn and that's okay. And so like Tori didn't even really give it a chance.
yeah.
And so now they're in this place of like, okay, like yeah,
okay.
It was, it was
that's how I feel.
giving very much. It was giving very much thirsty the whole episode, and she was making a fool of herself the whole time. It
Yes.
kind of outside at the end. It was just like, let it go.
Somebody get us some water.
All right now,
Little.
Kofi.
Not
Okay,
much.
so yes,
Cause y'all, I'm not gonna say that.
they be trying to drag it. That you give them an inch, and here go the men folk. Here go the men folk.
Mhm.
We pointed out with the girl, but
Oh no,
also
I
let's go
mean,
over to
we.
her other major interaction, because when I
Oh Lord,
tell
have mercy.
y'all the way I
Mhm.
hollered, okay, I was screaming, Khalil, what the
Mhm.
Khalil, don't talk to this girl. Khalil, he talking about something. You fine? No, she's not. Even if she is, she's not. What are you talking about? Why are you here, Khalil? But when I
Oh
tell
Mhm.
y'all the
God.
anxiety that went through my damn veins in this moment, and why was he looking at this girl like this? Khalil, I need you to relax, sir.
Mhm.
It's, I'm sorry. I was like, so you can talk to girls in a in friend setting. Like you can actually like open yourself up to this type of thing. You just don't want to do it with Amina. Is when I saw the scene. I think that's kind of what is causing me to kind of jump ship at this point because it's like like the interaction for me, honestly, I didn't even like really like. A lot of people were saying they seen chemistry with it. It was okay to me. It was like I wasn't too into the like if they're trying to do something there because it's almost the leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't want to see these kids sleeping together, all of them, four of them sleeping, going back and forth. But the interaction just it felt different, and it's just one thing I'm just like wondering, like why can't Khalil just like why can't he give this to me in that setting with Amina?
Oh,
Oh, well,
that's the
wait. Don't answer
brilliance
her
of it, though.
question. Don't answer her
Okay,
question. Don't answer
okay,
her question, Naya, because we're going to get to that. Because
it's
Cause
so
Tori, I have
brilliant.
already told y'all why. I told you why from episode 1, but y'all ain't hear me though. Y'all ain't hear me.
Mm-hmm.
I got my
Yep.
confirmation this episode. I ain't even gonna hold you. But before we go to the why, because that is a valid question, Micah. I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to reiterate it because again, I felt very affirmed in this moment.
I did too,
Mm-hmm.
because I said it too. What was it? The other was it last week's episode or the week before that?
Let's speak to how y'all feel about Khalil interaction with Tori before we go back to we're gonna put a pin in that, Mike, okay?
Mm.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be my last contribution to this because I got to get back on the clock soon. So, I'm not gonna lie, that scene tickled me. I felt something like, okay, Khalil, I see you smooth with it because all this time I just think you didn't have it in you. Like you a gangster and you just trying to get yourself into a position where you don't want to live this life anymore, and you've been avoiding Amina God knows how long, but you just walk up on Tori while she's by herself and tell her all this, and then kind of reveal your feelings are like on her while also giving her advice. I thought that scene was. I think it was like set up for something. I don't know what exactly, but I got some buzz from that. I'm not gonna lie. He was smooth with that too. And yes, Erica, she is fine. I know you don't want her to think he fine, but she fine.
I
So
didn't say I don't want him to think it, I don't want him to say it. That's not for him to say. That's not for him
well,
to say. There's some things
it
that you men folk just don't learn that y'all need to say. Whether it's the truth or not, it don't gotta come out your mouth. It just don't.
it is what it is. But yeah, I'm. Oh, this is gonna cackle me because I can foresee some things just on some petty stuff, and if we gonna play games, then let's play games, bro. I'm gonna put me in, coach.
Of course, Kofi. Of course, I don't expect nothing less. Actually, fine. Just know we going to war. That's perfectly fine. We're gonna be at odds the rest of the season. Nothing new.
Okay, well that's all good and all, but wish I could stay, but I gotta head out though, so
All
I'm
right.
gonna listen to this on replay though.
Thank you,
All right, peace, y'all.
Kenny. Welcome
Bye,
in,
Kofi.
boo.
Hi,
So we talk about
guys.
Khalil and Tori.
Oh,
Before we double
God.
back to Micah's very valid question of why can't Khalil give this to Amina? But you're not answering that question. You're just giving your raw thoughts about watching this scene go down.
Well, honestly, I was annoyed. I was like, why do we have to do this? Everybody doesn't have to know everyone. I just thought it was annoying. Again, like, I don't understand why Tori was. I mean, well, I understand why Tori was there. But I felt like, after the embarrassment, I would have made a very hasty escape
All
best
the
I
doors
could.
were locked.
I know, but Khalil and his father like busted in there like
They're
twice. I feel like
gangsters.
there's
She's from Beverly Hills. They break into things.
well, I was going back in the closet and hide, okay? That's just
That's
me.
valid.
But she was very confidently still around. And then their interaction, I mean, I've heard people say that they saw lots of chemistry. For me, I don't really see anything there. I was actually more confused about the interaction. It just seemed kind of like, okay, just showing us something different that we didn't
Really?
see before, but it didn't really appeal to me because I don't know, it's just these TV shows I get that all the characters have to interact, but that's just one level of like unrealism for me because everybody doesn't have to know everyone, you know what I mean? Like I felt like they didn't need to meet. That was
Okay,
just me.
John.
What? Oh, Khalil. Yeah. Uh, so the
You
interaction
don't have
between
to
him
add.
and
If you don't have anything to add, you do not have to add. I'm just trying to make
honestly,
space.
I just thought it was. Nah, I didn't really have anything to add. Honestly, don't
Okay.
really need to meet each other. But I guess for the plot, everyone has to know each other. Anyway,
I actually would disagree with that. I don't actually have a problem with them meeting, and I think
Yeah, me
that
either.
Naya, this is where we gonna shine, honey, because we coming back to Micah's question now. The
Yes, we are.
the meat and potatoes of this interaction, they gave us such a powerful revelation for Khalil's internal thoughts with this particular scene. And I don't think that there was another way to do it for it to be as powerful as it was, even though it was subtle. One, you have him running into the other pretty girl, the girl who is in a one-sided competition with our main protagonist, Amina. Cool. We've already seen her take a couple L's. He leads with talking about how fine she is. Let's state the obvious. So there could be an attraction there. Do I think that he was necessarily attracted to her? No. Do I think that there was chemistry there? 50-50. And I'm going to go back to the same thing I said about KJ. These are charismatic young men. These are charismatic, fine, driven young men that move with a certain level of intention that is very, very, very attractive. And in this moment, Khalil was still staying true to, it's in my opinion, again, this is just how I saw the scene. He's staying true to himself and being very cognizant and present in the moment with Tori. He don't know Tori, but to see that this is how he meets strangers, it provided to me additional context for like how we have seen him navigate the people that he actually loves. And when Micah says, why can't he give this to Amina? Because he doesn't feel comfortable to do so. And if and if we needed any type of proof for that, all we have to do is go right back a few minutes to this. Preach scares the hell out of this boy. He is very cognizant, even in the dialogue that he gave to Tori in that moment of like, y'all got to stop letting us live rent free in your feelings, thinking that we're thinking something that we're not even thinking. He's very aware of all of those things, and he's trying to move very, very intentionally with Amina because he respects her. And I really was pondering on this a lot last night when I think about the mindset or the psyche of high school boys or younger boys. And I think that the prerequisite for like falling in love with a girl at that age is respect. And that's what we see him speak to when he talks to Preach, and that's what we see him show. So it's not that, oh, he got all this riz and all this charm and all this charisma for everybody else and he could pull women, because quiet as kept, he said what he said to Tori, but I don't even think that he said what he said in trying to pull her. He still was very much so thinking about Amina, focused on Amina, and like I truly still believe that's where his heart is. But I feel like Amina feels like a no-go zone for him because of his dad, because of her dad, and not wanting to lose her as the solid ground, the other force of good in his life. And again, I said that at the very beginning of the season, if y'all recall. Those are my thoughts on that. Naya.
Yes. Yeah. To answer Micah's question, I mean, essentially what Erica said, for me, he doesn't know Tori. So he's comfortable enough to to the fact where it can be that comfortable. And it almost feels like there's more ease than it does when he interacts with Amina, because Amina occupies a space in his life that is just different from everyone else. And like Erica said, it feels like a no-go because of his father, of her father, and the element of how he regards her in his life. He doesn't, I really genuinely believe he does not want to lose the constant force that she is in his life. And so he is very tentative um moving around that friendship. And to me, I really don't think he fully contextualizes what she means to him in a romantic sense.
Because he's
I
still
don't
trying
think
to
it's
figure
that
it out, and it's
he's
so
still trying to figure it
cute.
out. And that's the brilliance of the way that the actor is playing it, is that it's there and I see it. It's like this, like you have this knot in your chest or in your stomach. It's like when you have butterflies and you don't necessarily know what they mean, but you know that they're there. And I think that's what when I look at Khalil, and when he looks at Amina, and when he sees Amina, and when he interacts with her, it's almost like watching somebody's throat close up. Because I really there's so much, there's like everything that I see that he feels for Amina that's not said, and then how he's moving with her. It's really with caution because he doesn't want to mess it up, and I really do also believe that he is still working with feeling worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like with Tori, it was easy to kind of approach her, and there's this ease and like this confidence, that I don't think it's fabricated, but I think it's easier to move around someone who doesn't know you. Amina knows him very intimately, and it's harder to what am I saying? It's harder to maybe be everything you want to be with someone that you regard so highly, because Khalil is still trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't
I
know if
also
that
would
makes sense.
know. I would also add for y'all's consideration, right? The guy who is totally capable of pulling women and chooses not to pull women, what does that say about that guy? Because that's also, to me, what the Tory scene was providing. Like, that let us know, like, yeah, it is not he don't know how to be charismatic, he doesn't have any game, it's not any of that. He got everything that he possibly could need, and he's choosing not to use it. Not with Tori, not with any other girl, because as far as we know, he's not with any other girl. And to me, that also speaks volumes, especially in, them being set in present time where everybody is just trying to bump on and hump on everybody. And then also to, Naya's point, and really thinking about how Khalil moves in the kid gloves that he kind of tries to have with Amina, I also think that his love for her might be the scariest thing in his life as he's trying to figure that out. He's even more afraid of that and what this is and like how he feels and how big his feelings are than he is of his dad. And that's what I'm picking up off the screen.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, y'all right. I don't even remember like in the scene because it's been like about 2 days now that he was talking about like his feelings after he said she's fine. I forgot when he was starting to talk about like how they can't read girls' minds and stuff. And I think in my thing I need to start looking at it more from Kel's perspective because I think I've been looking at it more from Amina's perspective and the fact that I feel like she's been yearning for anything to kind of show that this guy is attracted to me more than a sister or a friend. And I think that even with the jealousy thing, that gave her something. And I think that's maybe why I was like, okay, so you say this or you act a certain way and you can't do this for her. And I think because I was kind of looking at it from more her perspective, it kind of left. And the scene in general kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, mainly because of really the whole vortex thing. I don't like the whole thing of them trying to make it a vortex either. I really don't. Because it just, All American never does it right. And it becomes a point where it'll start getting nasty real quick.
It could be.
Yeah,
Where we
I
are now,
agree.
I think that they are doing it right. And I think
Mhm.
there has to be a certain level of like grace and respect given to the choices that he made within that scene. Because like I said, when he first started, the fine girl, da da da, no, 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 do not pass go, do not collect $200. But then when he started to profess his own damn feelings for Amina and what he was saying to her, I was like, oh, okay, go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it's like in that conversation also the subconscious was coming out, and I'm looking at him when he's saying it, and I don't think he doesn't even realize it until Tori like points it out, like like kind of makes him aware, but I still don't think he's fully aware. And I think that I guess I don't know if we're gonna get to this point because I also feel like with Amina, I feel like Amina might also have to come to the realization that at this moment, Khalil might just need the friendship more. And
Ooh.
so I don't
Mm,
know if we're going to get to that place where,
Mm.
because Khalil right now, I think it's not that he doesn't feel anything for her, that there's nothing there. It's more that there is, but he has so much more on the like on the surface with his father and how that's connected to his self-worth and him getting acclimated to this team, and then also this relationship he's building with Jordan. Like there's so many things interconnected, and Amina is interconnected with all of that. And so I don't know, I would love to get to a place this season, I don't know if we're going to get there, where Amina just realizes that the friendship might just be what, like, in order to love someone you have to understand what they need, and I think what Khalil needs right now more than ever is Amina as his friend.
I think
And
though,
so
Yeah, I
Naya,
that's
like
the
and
that.
I want
brilliance
to
of
welcome
the
the
love.
Lawrence report. I want to
Yeah.
welcome the Lawrence report to the conversation too. But let me say this real quick, and then Lawrence jump in. But to before you even get to that part though, Naya, and this came up while you were speaking, Micah, about when you said that, Amina is yearning for some sign from him that he is interested in her in the same way. I I think that they might really be hooking me with the subtleties, because I
Mm.
recall back in high school, like my very first, like, oh my God, I love him so much crush. Like it was just ridiculous. Like, girl, relax. The obsession was ridiculous. I recall being in a similar position where this person was like low key moving mountains, and like we naturally fell into a place of like doing life together. And no, he wasn't grabbing me and like kissing me in the middle of the damn hallway, but he was like showing up for me, giving me rides to school and doing all of those things, and like all of the signs of like how deeply he cared for me. Whereas in our day-to-day interactions, but because we are socialized to think that it's those like big grand gesture romantic actions that indicate how people feel or the love that they have for you. I think that Amina is missing that he is also yearning just as much, and she's not even able to get to a place where you're talking about, Naya, of being able to just show up as a friend and then take it slow because that's what he needs, because she is already discounting all of the things that he's doing. Girl, he has an
Yep.
alarm set up. He's going to the gym. He has an alarm set up so that he can leave the gym, come and walk your ass to school in the morning. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's there, baby. It's
yeah.
there. He feels it just as much as you do, but you don't see it because you haven't been socialized to see it. And that just, it's just authentic to, the experience that is set up. And I think that that's really part of the brilliance.
It's
Lawrence,
brilliant.
you
It's
want to jump
brilliant.
in? And then Naya.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wow, this is my first time on the live. Are we officially back?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, so
We're back.
I've been checking out this season. It's very interesting with these new characters, and it basically took me back to season one, football, relationships, gang related stuff. But what topic are y'all on right now?
We're on Khalil and Amina, and how Khalil was
Yikes.
able to give Tori what seemed like romantic riz, for lack of better words. But what's
Yeah,
happening in the
yeah,
dissonance with him and Amina?
yeah, that's basically what it is. As a man, it's just Riz. I don't think he's that highly interested in her versus Amina. You know what I'm saying? He basically just sizing her up, letting her know, like, listen, if you was my girl, yada yada, that would never happen. You know what I'm saying? As men, we do that. But at the same time, I'm thinking about what are they gonna do about this whole vortex situation? Are they like it's so confusing about how they're gonna do that. But I really hope that uh, Khalil and Amina remain as friends. That's just my personal opinion.
Naya,
Oh.
you were about to say
Oh.
something.
Oh no, I was just saying it's the Khalil and Amina aspect of it really, it's one of the main reasons why I'm here, and it brings so much joy to my heart
Yeah.
to watch them, because it's being written well, and that's what's scary too, is because like Micah said, this show knows how to take a turn real sharply, and then we don't ever find our way back. And unfortunately, Amina and Khalil are the only reason why I'm here. And even though KJ made a very surprising appearance that has me leaning in just a little bit, um, But Khalil and Amina, that right there is gold. And if they continue to write it like this, then this this is quite literally the train that is moving.
Naya, the
Um
girl at the boy said, "I'm sorry I didn't peep that it was your mom's birthday and I was making it all about me. So you gotta depend on strangers." She talk about some who KJ, whatever.
The strangers is
I
crazy.
said Khalil. Sorry,
KJ,
Micah.
I'm just like, oh, oh, sorry, Micah.
Nah, y'all go ahead. I was just saying the strangers is crazy, knowing that you've talked to this guy probably more than you talk to any boy at the school that you go to. So,
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, and even Khalil and KJ's interaction, I'm like, I feel like y'all gonna be friends down the line.
Oh
Like, I
my
Agreed.
don't know.
That was
gosh.
one of my
I feel
favorite
like y'all
scenes.
gonna be friends, and I want y'all to embrace it. But you know what? I like this whole what is going on right now because I want it to develop naturally. But I think that even that could be a friendship that could be redemption from the best friendship they thought they was giving us in the original All American with Spencer and Jordan. But I feel like Khalil and KJ could really find common ground when we get past the messiness or even through the messiness. So I just even think their scenes tickle me because I'm like, I feel like y'all are gonna be friends.
Agree.
Yes,
yeah.
I think so,
I
Naya, but the whatever sent me to the heavens. Here.
He said that. He said that with his soul. He did.
Go ahead, Kenny. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was saying I agree because early in the chat I was saying my favorite scene was the scene with KJ and Khalil because I thought it was funny but also refreshing. I was like, if this was Jordan Baker, he was gonna, you know, hit Spencer in the face for like no reason again, and it would be dumb. And I just thought it was refreshing, their interaction in the locker room, and I feel like I see a friendship down the line as well. And I really enjoyed that scene most of all in the entire episode, to be honest.
Y'all got very high hopes because I don't see it. I don't see
Well,
a
I don't know.
friendship for like at least a season and a half, specifically
But
Wait,
you say a
because for
friendship.
me,
You say a friendship.
I don't know. I don't know because it really depends on how KJ decides to handle his feelings about Amina. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is like the context that he has for Khalil. From Yasi, he just this gangster boy with his gangster ass daddy, and his dad comes to back up that claim, trying to get ghetto at the daggone hangout. And then from Amina's perspective, you the F boy that keep trying to break her heart that she can't see that she better than. So like what about what the marketing is around Khalil from KJ's perspective would actually make him want to do that? And then for Khalil, he is quite literally the competition for a person that you don't want to go there with because you're worried about losing her, but then ultimately as your competition, you would end up losing her. This man is like quite literally the means to the end that he don't want to have happen. So I don't see it. I think that they could be friends just because what we see as the audience of their character and how they're moving as young men that would very much so be aligned, but for what they know about each other and the experiences that they have had thus far, KJ had a gun pulled out on him, probably the first gun that he has had pulled out on him because of this young man.
This is true.
He ain't running to be this boyfriend or seeing it in the future, in my
No,
opinion.
I guess
Down
not
the
right now.
but
down the
Um,
line, when we've been over the
now,
beefs, over the conflicts, down the line, we see it a setup for friendship down the
yeah,
line, not tomorrow, not next week, not 2 weeks from now, not a
that,
year from now, just far down the line is what we mean.
I don't know because one of them gets to win Amina, and you really believe that they gonna be a good
no.
friend while still
Well,
like
The other,
only
the other
time
one
will
gets Tori.
tell. But
Now,
the things about, I think I wanted to talk about how you guys were speaking about Amina not picking up the signs that Khalil was putting down because of how we are socialized to believe, oh, if somebody does this, that means they like you or love you or whatever. And her not picking up those subtle cues. What we saw at the end of the episode is what she picked up is on his jealousy, I suppose, towards KJ, which then spirals into this what I think is a bad idea.
A horrible
Um,
idea.
of fake
Horrible
dating.
idea.
And I just thought that it was interesting that that is a cue that she picked up.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, he's jealous of KJ specifically. So how do we use that to our advantage? But then I thought it was interesting how you guys mentioned that she isn't picking up on any of the other cues that he's laying before her. And I was like, that's very interesting point that you all brought up because of how we are raised to see things and to see how people interact and how people treat each other, whether that's like, oh, that's a friendship or that's a relationship, when sometimes there's it's not as black and white, in my opinion. I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes what we might think, oh, that's just friendship cues, it have like a deeper level of love underneath that we just haven't noticed. So I thought it was an interesting point.
I did want to
Hmm.
also point out, so like all because I've mentioned or like Micah, Kenny, like you guys have mentioned like not loving the maybe development of the vortex, which I understand. So because I pause about it too. The only thing for me is that I guess the potential of these interactions, whether it's with Khalil and Tori, whether it's Tori and Amina, whether it's KJ and Amina, like all of the potential like them intertwining in all these different ways, like the potential of that to me feels more authentic than anything we got from the original. There is one friendship or maybe two or three friendships that felt real out of that whole the whole saga before this saga, that should have been more focused than the ones that were considered in the vortex. None of them were real friends, in my opinion. Whether it was
And
Spencer
even
and Jordan, whether it was Layla and Olivia, like none of them felt like real, tangible,
Yeah.
like tangible connections that you could root for because you just started to see them unravel and started to question what is the root of any of these friendships or connections. And I feel like with these characters, like yes, like I don't think Khalil and KJ are going to be buddies tomorrow, but I can see the potential and the journey of it more than the Spencer and Jordan of it all, who I still don't think
Yeah.
are friends to this day.
right.
So that's what
And
I
also
think
to
they're
the
doing it. Yeah, oh sorry. I
no,
just
you're
think
good.
that the writing of it right now of like yes, like we can because we're so used to the vortex, we're scarred from it. But I think the
Right.
way that they're writing it, and it's not even there yet. Like the vortex hasn't even fully solidified,
That
and that's even if
part.
that's what we're gonna do.
That
But
part.
you can see all these different connections and all these friendships that could be and that could work. And yes, it's gonna get messy because they're young, but I think it feels more real and more authentic than anything we got from the original.
100%.
That's my
And
opinion.
specifically
Yeah.
to the romance part of it, like, yes, we know that they're on the road to romance, but I also am very, very, very appreciative of the time that they're taking and the specific care that they're taking to these kids' age this time. Like, in this moment when Amina is like, can you be my fake boyfriend? You get all of the, like, giddy nerves, like, oh my God, I got a way to get him. And, like, okay, but maybe I seem stupid. And, like, but okay, I don't want to mess things up with you. Like, it feels like a teenage girl who doesn't know. She doesn't know that this boy really has deep love for you because he is integrated you into his life, and the jealousy is not coming specifically from KJ, but it's because he actually wants to be with you and feel like he can't. She doesn't know any of those things, and we're on a journey with her to watch it play out. Even when we get to see KJ, like we had the conversation to reiterate, like he's a guy that takes it slow and needs a connection, but he's also a young guy in high school. Like I really appreciate them taking it back to a time before all of the kids was euphoria ass high school kids humping on each other, doing drugs, behaving like adults. Like we're really getting to watch them be children in spirit, in thought, in dialogue, and ultimately in how they are manifesting and interacting with one another. And I think that, like to Naya's point, that is also a better reset than what we got with the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that like I don't have a problem with how it is right now. It's fine right now. Like it's good. Like they need to interact. The show still over there. So having them all come together in this episode and like finally meeting, that is fine. I think maybe for me it's the go like you know that thing in the back of your head that tells you, oh, this is all American. And it's why I didn't want them to meet in the first place. Because like, okay, don't it. This is fine. Just don't have it be okay. So it gets with Amina, and Amina gets with KJ, and Khalil gets with Tori. Don't have it be all of that. Like that's my only thing. Just don't have it be all of that. And as for
Yeah,
like KJ and Khalil being friends, I don't see it. But this is all American, so it might happen. I can see them having respect for each other. I can see them being cordial, but friends is not something I can see ever happening unless they do it through the whole Jordan's uncle, and if Jordan's related to KJ, then and Khalil's living with Jordan, then maybe that's how they do it. But other than I don't see the friendship.
For me, I think that we also have to be realistic in like what they have to work with. So this is a YA drama with a set cast, and I think it would be unrealistic to think that they certain characters can never interact. Again, I just appreciate that they're going about it in a way that they probably should have before, and now they kind of are like righting that particular wrong for me. So moving forward, I am not even necessarily like, I'm moving out of the place of actually comparing it in that way of like, well, don't do this, because I think that that's going to taint my experience moving forward when I am enjoying so many of these really great moments that they're putting together or putting on screen for us within these scenes and within the specific decisions for certain characters to interact in the ways they interact in the things that they are saying. Like, this feels like it is not callous, it is not arbitrary, it is not a lot of what we have experienced before. And like, I started the live off and saying like, I don't want to get my hopes up, but you know what, I am going to get my hopes up because this is where we're at.
And we
Yeah,
should. We have the right. We have the right to, and we shouldn't like not have like these like hopes of what this could be because we're scarred from what wasn't done when this first started. I think that we're in a place with this right now where we can sit with it and it feels fun and it feels new. And I really don't think we sat in this place with the original at all. I think certain storylines were written out and we never really strayed off of it unless it was for some, oohs and ahs. And I feel like with this, we're staying in a place where they're young. And I think that that is what's refreshing is these kids feel like their age. And I think that's
they
a
do.
beautiful place to live in. And it gives you more freedom to write and to expand and to really like delve into these worlds and with these characters in a way where you're not setting up rooms for yourself to like stay there and like never get out of it. Like, have fun with the fact that these kids are kids, and I feel like it feels easier to breathe because they're all young and they're going to make mistakes. I think that they are going to maybe fall into some things like romance wise with each other. And I think that's natural. But if you don't write it right, then it feels, like Erica said, arbitrary. Like, YA shows have done it before where everyone dates each other, or everyone has certain moments with each other, but it wasn't done in a way that felt like just for not. So there's a potential for it, but if you're just writing it to write it, then yeah, it's going to feel whack, for a better lack of words.
yeah, I agree. I think I think I was probably just a little traumatized about what happened with the series prior because I've been watching since the like very first season, the beginning, and it was really, really good stuff. I was like, wow, we haven't seen anything like this before, which is what hooked me to the show to begin with. And I think that seeing how it developed over time kind of threw me for a loop. But I am enjoying the new, fresh elements that we are getting from these new characters. I think what would just kill it for me is yes, I know Amina will have to either be with Khalil or with KJ or whatever they decide to do with that. But I think it's how the characters will respond to when that decision is made is what will do it for me. Because when I feel like in the past we've seen, okay, this person went with this person, so then they try to force a relationship between two other characters. That will end that for me. That's my only concern. Because like, don't try to force something between two other characters. So I guess like to Naya's point, like you have to write that romantic stuff. Like yes, you'll have interactions, but I just I'm hoping that they do it with some grace and actually do it better than they've done it last time. Just because Amina decides to be with one person doesn't mean that this other person needs to force a relationship with somebody that they have no connection with. That's just me.
So how would y'all feel if they end up forcing Tori and Khalil? Would you think that would be like a bad mistake?
Very
Yeah,
bad.
very bad because like there's no real connection like what you've shown us between Khalil and Amina going on for you to
Who's to
then try to
say? Who's to say? Tori and Amina. I mean, no. Um,
Khalil?
Khalil and Tori getting together would be forced.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
good
I
point.
just mean
We don't
the
know
manner
enough.
in which, yeah, I just mean the manner in which it's been done before. I'm not saying that if that happens, that it has to be forced. I just mean I hope that if something like that were to happen, that they do it better than how they've done it before, is what I mean. Because I feel like for a lot of people, I don't know, maybe not some people, like the kind of Jordan Layla situation seemed very forced. A lot
Exactly.
of Layla
Right, but
Asha
we're
interaction.
we're watching we're watching at the end of the episode Amina run to KJ and say, "Can you be my fake boyfriend to make
Yeah.
Khalil jealous?" So would we be automatically throwing Khalil in a place of, "Oh, this is forced," if he decides to reciprocate in kind? Or would they
Hmm.
Well,
just be
no, not if
teenagers?
they
Like
not
that's my thing.
not
Like I can't honestly, y'all, I can't really get on board with like, oh, as long as they don't do it this way, because they have now given me 4 episodes showing me that they doing it different. So I cannot live in a place of like, well, as long as y'all don't, they haven't been.
Yeah, and I think also like I think that you like they're young, and I think who's to say that Amina can't have a relationship with KJ if that's what it's meant to be, and then get to a place where her and Khalil have something. Like I just think you're young and you can't, like, realistically you can't put these kind of parameters when you're young and you're a teenager and being like, oh well, I have feelings for this person, but I can't fall into something with this person because that's how it's supposed to be. Like I think things happen naturally, and I think that who's to say that Khalil and Tori something doesn't, blossom there? And no one's saying that it's everlasting, but that's the fun of this journey right now is you don't know how it's going to play out. And you see all of these, like the seeds of stuff, but you're just going along with the ride because nothing is written. So I just think when you're young, like things happen. And I think that we've been so conditioned in this universe to be afraid of these things if they're written right, like to happen naturally. And like I've seen a ton of YA shows who've done it like this, and it's been great because it's been written right. There's been care put into the characters and the relationships and the friendships or whatever. And I don't see why this has to be any different.
I mean, I think
That's
to
true.
also to look at this scene in particular and to know that Tori pulled that man into a damn uh storage closet with a bunch of protein bars in tow, and to think that there's nothing coming from this on her regard. Like I started with
Right.
like if Khalil decides to like, okay, this is how you want to play it. But Tori is also a very active player, and they have already started to give us additional context to who she is and what she's capable of. And while she sees that KJ is not interested in her, at least in the way that she wants right now, it doesn't feel like she's no longer interested in him. So
Mhm.
I again, to like reiterate, to like box them in of like, y'all gonna be mad if these two start circling each other, then set yourself, get ready to be mad, because it feels like there's an organic place to go from here.
I
Yeah,
agree.
like it's
Me
a new
pers-
story, and like things can develop, things can change. Like it's high school. When I was in high school, I dated a guy. I dated his best friend. It's high school. It's messy, and I can understand what y'all saying now. Looking at it, like it's a new story. It's a new everything. Honestly, we kind of just gotta watch it.
I realized that,
Yeah,
Micah,
I mean,
honestly, like we were episode 3 in, and it's like we kept saying, well, so and so don't got a story. Then the following week, this is the story. And I'm like, oh, I'm shutting the hell up. Honestly, I'm just
Right.
gonna shut up because, and it's no shade to nobody. Like, I'm just saying, like, this is literally what I said to myself. I said, I'm gonna tell Micah, I'm gonna shut up because we were right in pointing out, like, Amina just floating and KJ just floating. And then episode after episode, they're like adding layers to it. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
I ain't think y'all was
they
capable, but
also
listen.
look.
KJ shut my ass up real quick.
I'm riding for KJ, so I gotta shut up.
Same. I'm riding for KJ as well, but I also like Khalil and Amina. Like I like everybody, but I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a go and protest if they do this. Like I'm like it's not like that. I just mean like I hope. I just hope I'm trying to be hopeful. Is what I'm trying to say. Is what I was saying before. It's not that I don't like would be hateful towards the show for doing this way or going that way because like we don't know what's gonna happen. It's a new situation. But I'm just saying I'm trying to get to a place of being hopeful. That's all I'm saying.
You're not there yet. Well, then it
Fair.
got
Yeah,
my ass, and I thought that I was the most skeptical, critical one of us all. But apparently, I'm like one of the first dominoes to fall.
Erica, if you were, I was, because I was in the group chats like, I'm not watching a season of this show ever again, and somehow I'm here, and I
And
don't know how I
Facts.
got here, but I'm here.
And
Nah,
rewatching
when
it
they
at that, like I'm in our group chat, and I'm just like, Naya said, "It's the angles." I said, "Yes, every single one of them."
For real, there's so
yeah,
many, and when you think there's like so many angles, then you rewatch it, and there's another angle. It's quite literally insanity. I hate it
In
here,
the
and I love
best
it here.
way.
The best way.
In the best way. What you saying, Lawrence?
no. I was just like Naya when she said that she basically was done with the show like after last season. That's literally why I said to her, I was like, "Why am I gonna worry about this?" But then I ended up seeing that trailer, and I was like, "That's kind of piquing my interest." And then I actually sat there and watched the first episode. I was like, I kind of like it. At this point, I'm like, you know what, NK, just go ahead and close it all out officially in season 8.
I don't want to say they might be righting some wrongs, but
I
they may
mean,
be righting some wrongs. I mean, I don't know. I said what I said.
I'm not rooting for it to end anymore. I tell you that. I'm sad.
Okay.
I'm sad. Okay, so in in processing the whole Amina, Khalil, KJ of it all, KJ, the little sleeper hit in this episode, the one coming out the corner with a couple tricks up his damn sleeve. I was working on my breakdown, and one of the things that I was really, I guess, like trying to chew on was that I think I jumped onto Team Khalil because he just seemed like he has so much that he could give to Amina, in a way that just will help her blossom into who I believe her to want to be. We're still getting to know her, but and where it seems like she's going. And this episode, KJ presented more than just a nice boy with a nice smile and some athletic ability, but he also feels like he has some very real things that he could offer Amina as well. And I'm like messed up with it because I was just like, dang, I thought that Khalil had everything that she could ever need. But there's more. How do y'all feel about that?
Mhm.
nope. Naya, I don't know if you were there when I said it, but I'm jumping ship.
I
I'm officially
I
on
saw
KJ
it, friend.
team, and I'm riding into the sunset. Cause yes, no, like I thought he was so self-centered, so surface level. But he showed me something this episode. Like he truly showed me that he can listen and he can apply what he's learned or heard from her and help her get through things and not just tell her that, oh, you deserve better. He actually like, and on top of it, he's fine and he has charisma and a nice smile. No, like I like it. Like I was just thinking at the end of the episode, like Amina, stop obsessing over oh boy and see what's riding for you. Like it's crazy to me. I like it.
I agree. I'm Team KG. Like I'm after this episode, I was like, wow. I don't know. It was surprising. Him in this episode was very surprising to me. Like I didn't dislike his character before, but then this episode just made him a number one fave for me.
Mm.
I just like the way that he showed up for Mina and just I mean it even though things with Tori was kinda awkward, I think it kinda saw like he was like, I don't want to lose this friend, kind of seemed like he still felt bad and stuff. I was like, he was very giving this episode, and that really sold for me.
Oh my god, Micah is so funny because we really were. See, Erica, Erica be that she's like a freaking like oracle because she was kind of like me and Michael were like I don't want to say we were digging in KJ's ass last week, but we were just like, sir, you're on the clock,
Word.
and we need a little bit more than what you're giving us. And Erica was like, well, wait, like, we might have to just give it a little minute. And so he must have heard us talking ish last week because he slid through real smooth this episode and was
Real
like,
smooth.
okay, let me show you just a little something because I heard the noise.
I'm
And
not
sir,
going to betray her
I'm thoroughly
confidence.
pleased.
I'm not going to betray her confidence for me.
Right?
What you know about that, sir?
Man.
Not
Man.
portray her confident. Like I said, okay, KJ. Now this we've arrived, and now I have to look at him like maybe you were just like you really are like he spoke to being a slow burn romantically, or more his father did.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that to me gave a lot of insight into what has been happening with him in these past 3-4 episodes. We've been seeing him as an onion really get peeled back. And I just couldn't appreciate it because I'm like, I had this little season on the clock because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here too long and y'all are not gonna hold me. So I was putting I was putting characters on the clock. And so KJ, I think, has like I can't even say he's finally arrived because I feel like he's been sort of like, stepping to the forefront in this episode. Yeah, he really felt like a real possible suitor for Amina. In a way that's not just like trite. Like, yes, Khalil and Amina have something that's completely different that you can't really quantify. But what Amina and KJ are developing and the way that I think he feels about her, like that I feel like is very real for him and what I'm seeing. And so this is the type of juiciness that we need. Like this is where we need to stay, where there is no clear ship. Like there is no I'm gonna be well for some people. Micah and Kenny said they jumping ship.
They
They said
said
they
had
said
said
KK is their
Yeah.
they
said
had
they're
said,
sad.
but as for me and my house,
Me
I
and my
don't know
house,
what to
I
do.
have made
I'm
no
in
choice.
peril, honestly.
I'm in peril.
Because the way that
Erica.
Khalil looks at this woman, look at this moment, y'all, and the way he is so
Erica.
proud. My God. I am torn. I have no idea. I have no idea.
He
The way
really
that
do be looking at her.
the way
I
that
might-
she kissed him on the cheek, Amina kissed him on the cheek, and you can just see him like he has this little smile to himself. I'm just like, I can't, like, I don't know which way to go. And then I look at what Amina and KJ have, and she's so damn oblivious to like what is going on with KJ, and KJ, it's all over his face. And I'm just like, I don't know which way to go. Like, I didn't think I would be here. Like, there's nothing wrong with KJ and Amina either, but like my heart is like with Khalil and Amina. I don't know. I don't know this feeling, y'all. Like this is weird
I
for
think
me.
in this
I don't know.
moment, in this moment in Amina's life, she needs somebody that is all about her. And with everything that Khalil has going on, I don't think he's at the point right now where he can be all about her. While KJ, he ain't got nothing going on.
Oh,
So he can be all
brother!
about, he's like obsessed with
I'm gonna
her.
let you finish.
He's obsessed with her. And so I'm thinking, like, I'm not saying it's anger. I'm just saying for this moment in time in her life right now, with everything, with her grief of her mom and everything, KJ is who I want her to be with.
Okay. Because Micah, please. Micah, please. I love you dearly. But Micah, please. I am a black woman. I tell y'all this all the time. Now my light's trying to follow me, y'all. And yes, support black women, protect black women, love black women, all of that jazz. However, I don't know how I feel about just dedicate your life and you don't have nothing else going on with you, so then you are able to center this black woman. How does that mean that he's the better choice? I feel like the better choice is the person who calls the best out of you. And while yes, Khalil has a lot going on and he cannot center Amina in his world, he is the catalyst. I don't know if y'all picked this up, but I did. Amina's so hell-bent on I'm grown because Khalil sees her as a child. So he already has a place in her mind where she is pushing herself to evolve as quickly as possible to mature and to be able to actualize that maturity where people perceive her that way, specifically tied to this man and his opinion. That actually matters. So she's already pedestalized his opinion in a way that aligns it with like her growth and her wanting to grow as quickly as possible. And yes, and I'm not, again, I'm literally torn. I really am not necessarily rooting for either one. I'm really at this point releasing myself to just going with Amina on this damn journey and going with whatever feels right while she tries to figure it out and watch her figure it out. But to speak to the Khalil part of it, it's like, in addition to him actually wanting to protect her and love her, which is why I think he keeps her at arm's length specifically, knowing who his father is. He can't even protect himself most of the time within his own home, within how he's navigating and what he's affiliated with. So I really do believe that a big part of that, or part of how he handles Amina, is tied to that and managing as much as he possibly can. I still give so much credit and credence to how their journeys could work together. So it's not just one person dedicating all of the attention and the time and the focus onto another for that person's benefit, but it feels like Amina and Khalil would be able to grow together and push each other to grow together, maybe quicker. I think that when I really think about, because I haven't thought about this particularly before this, when I think about if Amina got with KJ, they will be cool and they will be happy and he will be obsessed. And they would kiss on each other, cool. But then aside from him being able to help her settle in some of the grief that she's experiencing now, like we got to see in this episode, what is he calling her into in reference to the next parts of her life or how she wants to grow as a woman? And to me, that's already built in how Khalil and Amina engage.
Erica, I don't like the way that you explain that because it feels like deja vu now. And so now I don't know.
What you mean? Deja vu to who? To which one? Because people calling out all types of symbols in the chat, and I'm just like, I don't see Damon and Thea. I don't see Lando. No. I don't see. No. So
Erica, you
deja vu to who?
You know what the deja vu. I don't want to say it because I'm trying to release it.
No, say it. Wait, I got it. Ooh. I've been seeing a lot of stuff.
Type it, don't say it. Don't put that out in the atmosphere. Just type it.
Wait, who? Okay, wait. Before you even say who it is, who is giving you the deja vu from what I said?
No, the way that you're the way that you're explaining KJ and Amina and like what that could be. And feeling like that, they would be cool, it would be good. But like, you know what I'm saying. I feel like
I don't know. I might be wrong.
No, I don't want to say it. I feel like y'all should know we should be simpatico. I feel like we should be simpatico.
I know what you're saying, but I know we don't want to say it. We don't want to utter it.
Okay,
wait,
y'all.
Okay.
I mean,
are we saying Simone and Jordan?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
No, Erica.
Well, I'm lost. I told you this episode has me discombobulated. At this point, y'all have abandoned all my criticism because I'm sad and confused and loving it. That's all I got for y'all.
What is the shit? It's the shit that we don't want to mention because we just never want to mention it.
It's a bad
Y'all got me confused. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Wait, y'all think that KJ and Amina give Jordala?
No, you're saying everything is a major one.
Y'all said the ones we don't want.
No,
Hey,
Jordan. It's not even Jordan. It's not even giving Jordan and Layla.
it's not giving that. It's giving the ship that we don't want to talk about because they kind of ruined All American.
And I'm
They're
not
talking
saying
about
Oh,
Spencer and
Spolivia?
Olivia.
yeah, and no. Okay, listen. I want to clarify too. It's the way that you explain sort of like the vision of KJ and Amina and kind of like seeing it in the moment and then kind of what it could turn into.
Uh,
That to
but see
me
the
is sort
T,
of
the key,
Yes.
the key and the T of that though,
spin it,
Naya.
spin
Amina
it,
is
spin
not a
it.
narcissistic, selfish girl.
Right,
So
right. But I
you
meant
would need
more
that
about
piece.
like
You would need that piece to
KJ.
make that happen. To me, I didn't
Yeah.
pick up on that because she's not who that girl is.
No, and I
Mm.
don't think I wasn't picking it up from not from the Amina angle, more from the KJ angle of like like making her the center of his universe, which I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that. But if
Yeah,
it starts to hinder his own individual journey and sort of
right.
even how he interacts with her, that is what we have seen before.
Yeah. And
So
I think
Yeah,
But
Amina
see,
would be more
okay,
the.
okay. But what I'm saying is, I don't even
mhm.
have a problem with that. Like, I don't have a problem with
Mhm.
couples being in seasons where they're prioritizing one over the other because the other one don't have nothing going on and you become my world. But like, what is the catalyst to shift you out of that? And we don't have enough to speak to that yet. Even
Right.
if, right, let's say KJ is Spencer. I like totally miss what y'all was saying because Amina feels so not Olivia Baker that even
yeah,
in put in a position of like KJ is making his whole world about her. He's skipping out on team things. He's doing this. He's down at Crenshaw all the time, not spending time with his teammates. She would be the person it feels like right now would be like, no, we're going to Beverly. Like, you need to do this. We need time apart. Like, I love you, but
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
don't feel like he would suffer in the same way that we watch Spencer suffer.
Yeah, no, I'm not even making the comparison to Amina and Olivia. So I don't even want to take that angle. It was more just the way that you were explaining it, sort of like with KJ and Amina and sort of like just more like getting caught up in the moment of, and I'm not saying KJ and
Mm.
like I am intrigued by KJ and Amina together, but we have gotten caught up, or I don't know, some of us got caught up in the moment of like what we're seeing and then what it became. And you know, Spencer made that relationship so much a part of his, not even a part of his world, that there was no catalyst beyond that.
Yeah.
mm,
Everything that was supposed to be the catalyst
No,
or
there were catalysts. There were very, very, very clear catalysts when it came to them that could have shifted the focus back to Spencer. But in those moments of that catalyst happening, the choice was always for her to center herself.
right. And that's what I, and yeah, and that's what
mm,
I mean. But going to your point, Amina's not that. Amina's not Olivia. So that would never like with what we're seeing right now, like Amina would not alter those choices in so much of a way that would reconstruct the other's journey. I just, the way you were explaining it, I was like, wait, like I
I didn't
don't,
even
none of
get
us are
that.
getting moved out,
yeah,
huh?
but also I feel like KJ doesn't seem like he doesn't have anything to do other than just show up for Mina, show up for Mina. I think he's shown that he has the ability to show up for her, but I don't think it's that she's just like the center of his will and he have nothing else to do and he has nothing else going on in his life. I just, me personally, from watching, I feel like I just don't get that vibe at all. Which to me doesn't really bring that, Spencer and Olivia analogy doesn't really exist for me in that case because one, Amina is nothing like Olivia. And then also, for me personally, I feel like KJ has things going on in his life, but he also can show up for Amina. And I just thought it was good that it showed in this episode that he has the ability to, be um comforting. He was able to see that clearly something was bothering her about her mom's birthday coming up, and then being able to encourage her to give her speech was a nice thing. So I feel like those qualities is why I was like, I think I might be Team KJ, but at the same time, I'm not like writing off Khalil because I feel like he still also has lots of things that he offers to Amina as well. So if I feel like this is the first time I could actually say that honestly, if it goes either way, I'm fine with it because
Okay.
I see
Yeah.
how both of them have things that they can offer to Amina. And then also, I just feel like Amina as a character because she just seems very real to a young teenage girl. And it's something that we haven't seen before. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and
I
I
take
don't
back
think
I take back the smack. It really wasn't an analogy, y'all. Like I was just it was something that was sparked my brain as
No,
Erica was
I
talking.
have described it like that. I
I
definitely
see
have described it
no
like that. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
I see no real it's gonna take a lot for me to make any solidified parallels to the original because I try to erase the original from my mind, barring season one, and season two. So I'm not making any solidified analogies, but the way that Erica was, she just her speaking, like it did spark some things where I
And
was like,
the
oh,
T though,
okay,
Naya, is this is how it was supposed to be done when I was saying that back
right.
then.
Exactly. That's why, Erica, that's probably why it's sparking up in my brain because I'm like, we've had these conversations before. And it's because it should have been done like this.
but going to KJ and all of this, y'all, how do y'all feel about him deciding to go along with the parent trap plan?
he he
The fake
wants her to
boyfriend
be
scheme.
he
Ah,
wants her to be happy, and I think he sees that she likes Khalil. Like he sees like she's really into him, and he's mentioned it more than once, and he's seen their interactions. And if I feel like if this is what's gonna make her happy, he's gonna do it. I think that's what it is with him.
Mhm. It you, it's just one of those things you can see the writing on the wall about
Mm-hmm.
like how it's gonna play out.
For sure.
And I'm just like, okay, Amina girl. I
Mhm.
don't, I'm just here. Um, but I just know, like, you can see the path and you can see the dumpster fire that is the result. And I'm seated, but I'm just like, Amina, girl, I don't even know how we got from point A to point D. But I guess, girl, because Amina's gonna stress me out. That's sort of where
She's
I
gonna
got
be
at
so
the end of that.
stressful.
Point
So
put me
stressful. But
through the
also
ringer.
I think that there is something to this about, I guess, how all of them don't have a very clear understanding of their own feelings, because part of this feels like he's agreeing specifically because he doesn't realize how much this is going to actually impact him to be put in this position. He wants to show up for her. He wants the opportunity to spend more time with her. He wants to be able to be the one that's going to be there for her, especially after Khalil done rolled up on him for what is this, the third roll up, the third rundown. He like, listen, he over in Beverly Hills, but don't push him. Um, it just feels so natural to the naivete that comes with a young man in this particular position who does value like the slow burn and the connection of it all, making this decision to go along with this and not really understanding the repercussions, but just going along with it. Child, the writing is definitely on the
yeah.
walls.
But also, I feel like Amina is like one of his only solid friends in Beverly Hills right now. So, well, in the LA area, like
Mm-hmm.
where he is. And so I think maybe part of him is like, I don't want to, lose that connection and lose that friendship over like that being awkward. But I mean, obviously, we saw moments of him contemplating, and then we got Amina being like, oh, wait, no, is that dumb? Should we not do that? Like, is that stupid? And then he's be like, you know what? Yeah, okay. But is it going to end badly? Yes. We all know
No,
this.
she really
Mm-hmm.
is like I don't like it was crazy because she went from so she talked to Khalil and she kissed him and then she like walked away and you in your mind you're thinking, oh well, she's kind of looking like she's very giddy. She's gonna go talk to KJ, thinking like, okay, she's gonna be like, oh maybe I like you, but then she comes and she's like, oh you want to be my fake boyfriend? I'm just like, Where did that come from? That's
Well, did y'all really not see it? Do I have to play the scene? Cause
I mean,
it
I
was the
thought,
stranger,
Yeah.
y'all. It was quite literally
Yes.
the stranger. You had to
Yes.
rely on the stranger. She caught that in the moment of like, what, KJ? And
mhm,
that's when it clicked.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when it was like,
Definitely.
oh, I got him,
And
literally.
they also shared, like, her and KJ did share this deep moment where she did confide to him or confide in him about her mother. So I feel like um that allowed her to feel comfortable to even go to him to
Yeah.
ask that, because they have kind of like breached a new frontier, so to speak. So
yeah,
like I think in KJ's mind, oh, we just shared this deep, this deep connection. And like Erica said, he's not even really thinking about how this is going to play out. He's just thinking in the momentary. That means I got to spend more time with her. We get to have more of these deep moments, and who knows, right? And with Amina, she's like, oh well, me and this boy, like, we just shared this deep connection too, and I feel comfortable enough to go to him. Like I feel like we're in a space where I can ask this of him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
so do y'all think that she's like just completely oblivious to how KJ may feel for her, and that she just like
Yes.
it's giving she doesn't
Yes.
feel
Yeah.
anyway.
Cause
It's
she's
giving
like,
she
I
doesn't
think
like
he
feel
might
anyway.
think that we, something's between us, but like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
giving
Yeah.
think it's also
like
another confirmation for KJ that, Amina really, really likes Khalil. Because, like, if you want to go to these lengths, you really
Hmm.
like this boy, you know what I mean? So I think that's further confirming that for him, but he just doesn't know how to reason with that right now. Because his
yeah,
feelings are all tangled up in it.
Oh my
which
god.
is
Yeah.
why in it for the long haul to be here. It might not happen this season, but it'll happen. It'll happen.
Y'all, if
Yeah.
y'all are listening and enjoying the conversation, do me a favor and hit that like button for me, pretty please. I know I don't do a good job of calling that out, but I just looked over and I said, what? 13 likes. Come on now.
Yeah.
KJ's in trouble. Bless his little
He's
heart.
in trouble. I was gonna also, like, I had a, like, there was a question that came to mind, Erica, when you were talking too, just about like the Khalil, KJ, and Amina aspect. And I feel like you mentioned like Amina in her mind feels like Khalil sees her as a child and is treating her as such. So she's trying to appear more grown. KJ, Coop, everybody in her life. And I feel like a question just popped up in my mind of sort of, does Khalil see her as a child, or does he just see her as this person who's really important in his life, and he wants to like honor and protect that? So it's not even like she's reading it as like, oh, you're treating me like this child, and he's just, I even wonder if he really is doing that, or like that. And then also to your point, like he's purposely keeping her at arm's length because of all the turmoil happening in his life that he can't even escape. So in her mind, she's just really like misconstruing the way he's showing up around her and for her as like all of these other things. And I don't even think Khalil sees her as a child. I think he just sees her as like someone very important to him, and just Amina, and
I,
understanding how important who she is, and like wanting to protect that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the case. I think that Amina is off base in a lot of ways, and she doesn't have her mom here, who would be the person that would typically walk her through certain feelings and certain thoughts and perspectives, right? Like, we don't know the conversations that are being had with Preach. But we get Preach saying in this episode, let me be the father to my daughter. And we've seen Coop show up very actively. So it's like she has Coop and Preach, and she hasn't even disclosed a lot of what's going on to them. So she has no additional context to tell her anything. I think that
Mhm.
when you're in high school, you learn some things from people telling you, but then you learn most things from how you're engaging with the environment and what you see around you. So to have a friend or best friend like Khalil, who is going through very real things, his daddy is a Crip. He had to go through X, Y, and Z. He's now having to repeat the 11th grade, even though he's very smart, and like he has to deal with like real world things getting in the way. while she's being chauffeured to and from school. People are checking on her. Layla owns a bar in the community, so she, gets to have this job. Like everything kind of feels like it's handed to her to a certain extent. So I could totally see her forming a perspective of like, dang, I'm being coddled, I'm being a baby. Meanwhile, Khalil was grown and having to deal with X, Y, and Z. And it's not necessarily she's wishing for a harder life, but I think when she looks around to the people who are closest to her, Khalil being a big one, it looks like her life is a little bit babyfied compared to him getting it on the real. And I think that that's the thing that's like coloring her perspective and making her feel like he sees her in the way that she sees herself within this circumstance. I think that Khalil 100% sees her as a young woman, one that he's attracted to, but one that he is more concerned about protecting than consuming. And that's the part that gets a little bit tricky, because young people, especially when they get into the space of having these big romantic feelings for one another and figuring out what yearning and desire and love and like and all of that kind of stuff is, they kind of are immediately normalized into this idea of like, you should offer yourself up to be consumed by this person, and that's what romance is, that's what love is. But Khalil was operating outside of that in a more universal true grounds for what love is, and she can't process it as what it is because she doesn't know to. Now, I feel like that I just made that more complicated than it needed to be, but that's how I feel.
No, that just all played into like, that was just less a question and more just what popped into my brain of like, she doesn't even understand, like, it's not even, he does not see her as a child the way she thinks he does.
Yeah.
So,
and that's also part of his problem. I would argue that maybe he wants to see her as a child and he can't.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
All the angst, I live for it.
It's good. It's good.
Oh, there's a new person who wants to join. Toxic Lover. Hello, welcome into the chat.
I gotta go, but
thank you, Kenny.
Bye, Team KJ, for this week. We'll see what happens next week. Bye.
Team KJ, tentatively.
Yeah.
Micah said yes, Lord, basically.
I haven't had a ship to root for in a long time.
It's been drier than the Sahara.
Child.
Said.
Yeah, Arlington has given me nothing.
Not giving me nothing. Toxic Lover, do you have something you want to add?
Hi, it's Shaw.
Oh, hey, boo.
Hey. You guys have been having great
Oh my
conversation.
gosh, friends! Hi.
We've missed you.
Oh my goodness. I caught up a couple weeks ago and I didn't know that you started doing the lives again. And I saw it last week. And I was like, oh, she's back. She's back. I'm excited.
Yep. We are here.
Like the sexy red song. Like, why are we here, friends? Like, we weren't supposed to, it wasn't supposed to be like this.
And I low-key resent y'all for dragging me back here. Not y'all, but like NK and them, because I have written y'all off, ma'am. Like, what is going on?
Yep, and All American Homecoming was the final straw.
Hello.
Plus, we were like, Lord, that is it.
It's over.
Feel free to share any thoughts you got, Shy, but I'm gonna because we've talked about a lot as it pertains to the little love square that's going on. I refuse to get on board with that vortex word, but it's being done well.
Yeah,
it's being done well.
Yes, and can I say what I love about this season is showcasing like the center of family and the family dynamics more. I just love that representation, and I just love that KJ, that he has a relationship with his dad where he can have a conversation about a girl that he likes, right? And there's no judgment. There's no, oh, you can't have those feelings. It's his dad knows him. He knows the kind of man that he was. He's the one that gave us insight that, hey, he had a long-term relationship. He was with someone for 3 years. We also know that they broke up and it took 6 months for him to he's still not even back in a relationship yet. So we know that he's a slow burn, and we get that through his eyes and also additional context through his dad. So it shows us that like his dad is in tune with him. He's also in tune with himself. And I think it's so beautiful because in the earlier seasons, we would get those insight through the coach son pseudonym type relationship, right? We never really got that with Billy and Jordan, right? Spencer had a limited time with his father. So I think it's very interesting to see that type of dynamic being showcased now because we didn't really get that a lot in our OG. And seeing that in contrast with Khalil and his dad, and how different it is, and how it looks when your parent really has your best interests at heart, even if you might disagree with them, and how it looks when your parent is kind of messed up in the head. So
Mm-hmm.
I really love that contrast, and I'm also, I'm a Layla girl, so I'm giving this little triangle. I'm gonna look at it from the back. I will look at it from the back. I'm not jumping on no ships yet. And depending on, whatever floats my boat, their boat shaking, but nobody's jumping on my ship yet. So we'll see how that goes with Amina.
Okay. I think that's a
Mm,
very, very, very valid point. I was very, very
yeah.
pleased that we did not get brooding, sulking Cassius this episode. Because I said, sir, I need a
Oh,
break. Give it a rest. And he did. All he was worried about was them
please.
ribs. And I said, you know what? Yes. Barbecue
Yes.
It's
without
the
your smoker. Please.
Yeah.
it's the it's the anti Jordan Baker effect. As long as Jordan is not there or mentioned, my guy's
he's
fine.
good.
He's
Mm-hmm.
good. He
Micah,
is
Micah,
fine.
he couldn't he couldn't resist one opportunity to drop it either. Like, oh, this ain't about
Oh,
you trying to something with Jordan. I was
Get
just
close
like,
to
Cassius,
Jordan.
you are under Jordan's bed a little bit more than I was, I fear. And I don't know how to feel about that. It kind of makes you look like a weirdo because we don't even
no.
know what your reasoning is. But I just thought it was funny because he had to mention him at least once.
Yeah.
But
No, because like
Cassius,
these daddies like could form the anti Jordan Baker club at this point. Like y'all both, the two of
he
them.
got it. He got it. He won. Cassius for the win. Cause I don't even. I
Cassius
did
said, y'all
not.
not even hating right on Jordan. Let me show you how it's done.
Yep, yep. He said,
Y'all
I'm your
got it
biggest
wrong.
hater.
This is how you step. I'm in his nightmares. I'm like, oh, okay. But what was so funny because Shaw, you were speaking to the relationship between KJ and Cassius, and that one interaction with them, I found myself giggling because they almost seem like homeboys.
They do.
Their father and son, and I had to remember, like, are they classmates? Is this his boy or is this his daddy? And it's just, it was so interesting to me because we've just never had this dynamic on the show before, and so a part of me is like, this is really strange, but like it's also very intriguing to me because it's just
Yeah.
this new aspect of a father-son relationship, and remembering that Cassius is a bit younger for like the
Yep.
stereotypical dad prototype.
Yep.
And so I was just like, I just found myself giggling. Like they're posted up on the locker. It's felt
Yeah.
like, it's talking to him about his troubles. And it just felt like such a like homeboy to homeboy conversation, but yet that's his daddy. It was just
It's
so
him
funny.
saying the
But
walls are thin. I'm like, what do you mean
Yeah.
the walls are thin?
what
I'm like, I know
you
you
mean, sir?
wasn't knocking down girls in Oakland with your daddy and your mama in the other room. They had to
Right.
add a little
Right.
bit of sprinkle of all American because them children was bumping all types of uglies and they ain't give a damn where they was doing it.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to see when he's happy. It's nice because as we know Billy Baker was a horrible father. We know that. But like
Yeah.
no, but no, seeing them talk and stuff like Cassius, he could make me like him if he would just chill out. If he
Mm-hmm.
would just chill out, I could like him. He has potential
He does.
a little bit.
He does.
I don't know why
I
he
feel like
has
we're gonna
such
go
a
right
big
back. We're gonna go
shoulder.
right back to the brooding. Sorry.
I don't know why he has such a big chip on his shoulder because I'm like, who are you trying to prove this to? Like, ain't nobody worried about you, sir. Like, who are you trying to prove this to? Like, the school, they not paying attention to you. Jordan, he tapping you on the shoulder. Like, Jordan chilling. He's
Big
chilling.
chillin'.
He is.
He's
I
doing
literally asked
his
that question
God.
too last week. Like, what do you need to prove so bad that you just walk around with the biggest chip on your shoulder? I literally said that last week and we still don't have an answer. So I would like to know what that the answer is so we can move forward.
Child, at this point, you know what? He can keep his answer. Just keep barbecuing and making plays and get off our nerves and let us focus on on the square because that is more pressing right now, Cassius.
Yeah,
You need to focus
they'll get
on
it.
not even these plays. You need to focus on getting your wife back and let us
Right.
worry about
That
the
part.
children.
But I
This
fear
point.
that the
People
chip
make
on his shoulder is even keeping him from doing that. So I feel like
Yep.
he needs to release it. And I even feel like, listen, we like the whole cookout, daddy. Let me make you a plate and worry about my ribs. But I feel like we gonna go right back to the BS next week.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
until
because
we
Jordan,
release it, we gonna keep on going around in this circle with Cassius. So I would like to get off the train at some
the
point because
thing
I
is,
don't
the
like
chip
it
on
here.
the shoulder, the chip on his shoulder is the annoying light skin from Beverly Hills, and he's not going anywhere. So, but I think in the next couple episodes, because I've seen the synopsis, they're gonna talk about it. We'll find out, and it better be worth it.
I
It
haven't
better
seen
not
no
be nothing.
previews or synopsis yet, so I can't wait. All right,
Me
y'all.
too.
We coming for Cassius. We on his head. He had a decent episode. But should we just beggars not be choosers? Because we have a father who seems like a brother and or homeboy versus a father who really think he his son homeboy and got all types of reckless bullshit afoot in little
Mm.
Mr. Marquis.
Mm.
Should we let
I,
should we let Cassius
I don't
brood
know.
since we got this on the other end?
Oh.
You see, Cassius's brooding is like annoying. Marquis, on the other hand, I like
Child.
him. I don't know his energy, his vibe, his like sinister ways of going about things. It brings something to AA that I think they have been missing.
Mm-hmm.
Cassius's anger.
He
I mean,
low
I don't care.
scares me.
Oh, that's a good point, Micah. That's a good point. um, yeah, Cash is like to Micah's point. Cash is just it's so like it feels so benign that it feels trite. So it's just like
Mm.
to Erica's point, like maybe we just gotta kind of be like, oh, okay, like what Jordan does to Cash is pat him on the back. Okay, sir, it's all right. We're just gonna leave you in the corner
Yeah,
because you obviously sulking in the corner like that kid who has a tantrum. So could just leave him where he's at now. Marquis. I am
Child.
torn between being like Micah, like I can understand the energy being completely different than anything we've had on the show before. Um and that being intriguing, but I'm torn between like that point that Micah just posed and just being utterly like, please, sir, get away from Khalil. Like
oh
literally
no,
just
he's a
get away from
horrible.
everybody. Like I this episode to me, I was like, sir, I literally said this audibly out loud, y'all. I was like, you know what? No shade, but sometimes some people gotta go. And we've already lost a couple people on this show. And quite frankly, sir, you can be next. And I
Really?
literally said that yes,
Now you're
because
I
chipping
don't
him
know,
to the
Naya.
I
grave.
I don't
I
know.
don't I don't listen. It's a little bit too sinister for me right now in a way that is like I feel like it's completely in the way of Khalil's progress right now. So I'm not with it because also we have seen this like we've seen enough sinister energy on this show where I'm just like I wasn't a fan. So maybe
Have we?
I'm jaded. I'm
You didn't
jaded. I
like.
like the actor. I like the actor. I do like the scenes between him and Khalil. Like I do think it's a different aspect, a different type of father-son relationship. But I'm just not a fan of him in this episode trying to drag Khalil into hell with him because he don't know no better. I'm not a fan of that right now.
I mean, I don't think that you have to be a fan of it to
That's just
respect
me.
to put some respect on that man's name because he's captivating. And I don't think
Yes.
this show could be this show right now, Naya, without his energy. I really don't. It's
I can
one
see
for
it.
him
I
actually
see it.
being there and existing is one thing, but he quite literally is some of the biggest conflict for the Khalil character. And that's a
Yeah.
very real thing. Like some of us grow up and at this time in our lives, the parent is the biggest op, is your biggest
Yeah.
hater, is the biggest thing that you have to go up against, and the mountain that you kind of have to climb and overcome. He's very smart in school. The only issue with him in having to repeat this grade is not actually his grades or his aptitude, is quite literally is his attendance. We're seeing how his attendance could have been messed up if his father is yanking him off over to do jobs here and there or whatever. He has his athletic ability, so everything lines up aside for Marquis. If we remove Marquis, we honestly low key remove the heart and soul of what has started to form within this show, because he is such a pivotal part of Khalil's story.
Yeah.
And even Jordan, like he presents conflict. You don't do this to
Yes,
me.
he does.
Like I really hate when y'all do this.
He's
Like I
sinister.
really
We want him to get behind me, Khalil, but also the switch up, the code
Yeah.
switching is crazy.
it's crazy.
It's crazy great work, bro. Like it's masterful. It's so spot on. It's, to me, it's so spot on to the narcissistic parent who has pedestalized themselves in their own bullshit and bad decisions, but then still has to carry the weight of being the parental unit and the guiding factor. And it don't even matter if you're guiding this kid to hell, they're with you and you're supposed to be the good thing. That is so real. That's how 90% of American parents parent, regardless of what their
Yeah.
occupation is.
And
Yeah.
there is also something to be said about the fact that Marquis did, like, he was a young father, like 16. So in a way, it's like, I don't even know if Marquis has fully grown up. So those interactions with Khalil just feel, yeah, it's,
Great.
I can't
That's
do this
great.
with
Like,
y'all.
is a great like part of the show. Like the whole thing, he's the devil on Khalil's shoulder, obviously. But when he
Yeah.
walks into after they break in, he's walking in and he's rubbing it, like he's marking his finger across the locker room, and Preach sees him coming and everything, and it's just like it's so good. Like he's not a good father. Don't get me wrong. He's horrible for Khalil, and the switch up from, because I thought he was like, I in last week when we were talking about it and brought up how he may be jealous of Khalil and how probably will never fully be able to be proud of his son or accept his son. And we saw him like be like, oh no, I'm not judging you. I'm proud of you, son, and let me carry you to the lock in and everything. And I thought, oh, maybe he's trying. And then you just see him say, we gotta be able to lean on each other. And I'm just like,
As
I know
soon
where this
as
is
he
going.
said that, I said, wait a minute. Wait a
Right.
minute now, Marquis. You had me till you got
Right.
here.
Even-
Because you're
Yeah.
setting this boy up. I literally said it in that moment. I said, you're setting this boy up for something with that
Yeah.
statement. And lo
And
and
even
behold,
like, yeah, even the very end, like you just see how much power Marquis has over Khalil in a way where it's like you see Khalil wanting to break away from it, but it's like that, it's that that wormhole or that sinkhole that just keeps on dragging you back. And it's like, what else is he gonna do? Like that's his father, quite literally the only parent that he has. So it is a very interesting conflict, and I really
but it's
It's
so
really
just
good.
our
And I honestly,
beginning
I want to
of
balance this off with like the very top of the episode, them playing pool, them eating, and like him being able to say, no, I'm actually proud of you. I think that the Marquis character is also battling internal demons behind wanting to get behind this new life and this new perspective and this new Khalil, because he realizes that it's good, but it's not something that he knows, and that's something that's very uncomfortable. So how can he, as your dad, lead you through life if you're going down a road that he has never even walked and has no idea how to help you succeed at? No, come back over here because I know how to do this. I know how to get money. I know how to X, Y, and Z. We're going to be good over here. And I think that there's something just so real and human about that playing out for the Marquis character. And I think that they're doing a good job both in like on the page, but then also in the actor and how he's presenting it to show that duality and complexity within this character. He's not just a simple villain.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
not. He's definitely not a Tyrone. Where Tyrone definitely felt like, yeah, you can get him off the page right now.
Yeah,
Because
I
it
was
was
gonna
pretty
say,
straightforward with Tyrone and even Mo. But even Mo had a little bit more, I guess, but not really. But so yeah, Marquis definitely not those two.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
you didn't
say
see the
that you bringing up Mo, I think they might be setting him up to do what Mo couldn't do, right? And that is to correct his
Interesting.
wrong, because that's something
ooh,
that Amina said, right? That her mom had issues and she died before she had the chance to correct her wrongs, right? So we're seeing this battle with Marquis with his son, and we hear them talking a lot about Mo. So maybe we'll get to see that play out through him, seeing him having to make a choice between correcting his wrong, walking away from his past life and choosing his son, and what that would look like if the parent actually lives to make a difference in their lives.
That's a
yeah,
really
and
Or
I don't
maybe
feel
I'm
like
just dreaming.
I don't feel like I
that's
don't even
super
feel like he's
meta.
gonna do that, though. I feel like he's a stubborn type. I feel like he's at this point. At this point, I feel like so Khalil at some point I think is gonna move in with Jordan, and at this point I feel like he in his mind, Marky's mind, he's gonna put all of this on Jordan. He's gonna blame Jordan for his son being the way he is now, and that'll lead to like whatever that'll lead to. But I just don't think he'll ever take accountability and say, okay, this is on me. I'm gonna do what's best for you, and I don't think he has that in him. At least not in this season, based on what I'm
No.
saying.
But I think to Erica's point, the way that the actor is choosing to play it is you can see both paths in a way that is very interesting of where he could end up. Because he very could and well end up like you'll never learn, you'll never be supportive of Khalil. He'll never make that turn and be the father that Khalil needs. Or he could could, in Shai's words, be what Mo couldn't necessarily be for Amina. And so I guess that is it's in the choices that the actor that plays Marquis, like what he's doing with the character, there's duality.
And I
Yeah,
also
I
think
don't.
that you can't really say, well, okay, if it turns out, right, if it turns out that he winds up he cannot live up to being the parent, the father, the guiding force, the steward that Khalil needs in his life, it will not be for a lack of trying, because even watching him make the effort to balance the duality and the code switching means that there's something there. If he quite literally was never going to make an adjustment, then he just wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Why even make the effort to try?
Yeah, I think he loves his son.
Mhm.
He obviously does.
He
He
definitely loves
does.
his son.
And
Yeah.
but I think the best thing that he probably could offer Khalil is to just take a step back.
Yep.
I think that's the best thing he
Releasing
could
him.
offer him. I think that's what he probably will do. Like he'll take a step back. He'll allow him to do what he's doing, and kind of just back out of his life for a little bit.
But I think Jordan is I think that's what is so interesting about the Jordan role in it all is I think because maybe Marquis can do that. I don't know how it's going to be written, but maybe it would be easier for Marquis to be able to do that if Jordan wasn't
Yes.
also, I think, in a way, posing a threat
Yep.
to being another male influence in Khalil's life that could very well take him away from Marquis and everything that Marquis knows. And like to
Yeah,
Erica's point, it feels so realistic to real life where a lot of parents have a hard time of not being able to embrace what they don't know.
Yep.
And so they immediately reject it and, put their kids in a position to have to reject that too, or reject their kids because of what, not being able to embrace a new thing or a new journey or a new path, something that could be very, very good for their child, but they don't, like they don't know it. So you immediately reject it out of fear. And I feel like with Marquis, I feel like with the Jordan element, it could cause him to hold on to Khalil even tighter
Yep.
because he's like, oh no, like I'm not about to lose you to this one. Like
yeah,
I just think the Jordan element, like it's easier said than done. Like Yeah, it's
that
probably the
part, the
best thing for
Jordan
Khalil was
element
for him to.
engages his ego, honestly.
Yes,
That's what it
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
I experienced
Yeah,
this
that's
in
what it
high
is.
school when I was like much closer to my aunt than I was to my mom, because I felt like my mom just didn't understand and she was judgmental and like certain things were just going on. And I was very, very close with my aunt. And my mother had a cold war with my aunt. She wasn't doing things untoward or like wow, but like there was like a brewing animosity, and it was simply because my aunt was being to me who she had hoped she would be, but was not capable and couldn't see that she wasn't capable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it in my own life
And
too. Like,
it'll
it's so
take
crazy how that works in families.
Yeah, and they
it'll
want
take a
to,
lot.
right? Like they're battling the desire to like want to put your child first, but then also the very real struggle of having certain feelings come up of like jealousy and animosity. And if you're not actually prepared or know what to do with those things, then how do you handle it? You don't necessarily handle it the right way. You don't necessarily center your child how you will want to, because these bigger feelings are feeling greater that you need to satisfy. So you act out on those versus doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's
Okay,
why
well,
Jordan makes to watch his back.
A hundred
He really
percent.
does.
The
yeah,
way
he
that
definitely
Preach
does.
shifted, y'all, I was
Oh,
like,
I
because you
gotta
know
check
I
that
have been
out.
saying like Preach is not about that. He is kumbaya, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. The way that Preach shifted the moment that he saw Marquis making his way down that daggone hallway, his voice dropped a few octaves. He over here smiling, yucking it up with Cassius. This is how you know that Marquis is really a threat. And I love, love, love how they are doing it, because like y'all said, he come in and he got his hand, he just got his finger on the locker and he cool as a damn cucumber. This is him in nice mode. This is him in cool. They lie. I ain't starting no beef. I ain't starting no problem. But his whole entire aura, his presence come with it. So you know that he's a force to be reckoned with. And then we do see the juxtaposition when we get to the end of the episode and he really like, no, I was da 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 da. You need to say X, Y, and Z. It's like he's menacing whether he's trying to be or not. Child.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like to the
I
Preach point, like you don't see Preach like perk up like that around a lot of characters, and so in that instance, like the fact that just Marquis' presence alone in that school was enough to completely have Preach like do a double take and zero in on whatever that was. Is yeah, definitely Marquis is a
The
big
streets
threat.
tonight. Preach said I was about this life, y'all. 2.5 seconds about to sending me back to my old
He
life.
did. It took him back real quick.
Immediately.
know. Like
Immediately.
when Marquis said that the doors just magically blew open, like the actor did an incredible job. Like I know I'm not supposed to like him. I just like him. I like the energy. It's
Yep.
different. It's new. It's
Yeah.
fresh.
I'm like talking it out. I'm just like, you know what? I take it back. He don't got to go. But I feel like maybe that's like underneath it all. I'm just like, okay,
It's the
this
where
is
I know you
interesting and
from,
intriguing.
Naya.
You know me, and you know how I just see. Look, as we're talking about rejecting things because
Child.
out of fear or like out of like low key like and intrigue, like that's exactly what I did. I was like immediately no.
He's
I don't like
captivating.
it.
No matter if you don't want him to be captivating, he's captivating. He looked at Cassius, where I know you from. You almost ran down on him too that like last week. That's where you know him from. He's a bookmark that you've been meaning to revisit.
You know, I
Like
never forget a
Cassius,
face.
you don't want to catch this, bro. You're not about this life.
Child.
But you know, I never forget a face. Like Marquis, please.
Cassius
And
looks
the
scared.
actor, yo,
Cassius
like the
looks
actor who's
scared.
playing Marquis, he just is so like fluid, for like lack of a better word. He's just so in Marquis. Like he is walking, living, breathing, thinking. He is tapped
He's
in to
believable.
Marquis. Yes.
I
And
love him.
I
yeah,
believe him.
and it's so interesting, like, because remember, I think a couple episodes ago, we saw that we were going to be introduced to Khalil's father, and I remember we were like, "Well, who is that actor?" And like we did this whole
Mm-hmm.
thing, like, "What does he look like?"
I
And
was
we were
like,
like, "Oh Lord, I don't know." We were like,
uh-uh.
"We got to see." Well, he got the job for a reason because
Mhm.
he's
Listen,
eating down. He's eating down.
Micah, they have proven me wrong too many times this season. I'm cutting my losses and I'm on
Honey,
the ride.
Say
I'm gonna
no.
shut the hell up. I'm gonna shut up. This the last.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna just watch. I'm not even with like the only straw left unturned for me right now is Cassius, and I'm not even gonna say
Mm.
nothing about him because I want to see it. I want to see what happens.
Right.
Like, what's your problem? Like, I'm just letting
Ashes
it go.
and the
I'm waiting.
coach, because the coach is on my not list too.
What coach?
The
Bobby. Bobby's not
yeah.
necessarily
Oh,
on my list anymore. Like before, I was like, okay, you doing too much. But then last episode, Jordan, get out this man face. You are annoying.
yeah.
And it
Right.
felt
Bobby,
more balanced. It felt more like you need to understand how this works, and you're being
Hmm.
disrespectful
yeah,
because Jordan was being disrespectful.
he
Yeah,
was.
and I think last episode too kind of just solidified because remember I think we had a question of like, well, are you feeling some type of way because you feel like Jordan could take your job at some point? And
Right.
I think last episode was more just like, no, Jordan, you're just annoying and you are overstepping and you
Yeah,
are doing that Baker thing. You doing too much. Like, relax. Let this man
yeah.
run this team and play your position because you have a lot to learn. So I'm not even. I'm just like, you know what, Coach Bobby, I understand. I understand
I
you.
understand, but I do think he was coming with some unnecessary smoke.
For sure.
I didn't
Initially,
like his
In
yeah.
the
tone.
beginning,
Yeah.
for
It's
sure.
For
Yeah.
it
sure.
was a. I think it's a red herring to kind of make you think that maybe the reason why he has beef is because he's the uncle, but he's not the uncle. I think he's just annoyed with Jordan, which
I
is
don't think
normal.
that either.
He's
Which
just
is
annoyed with Jordan.
normal.
At least he has a reason to be annoyed. Like he Jordan could take his job one day. So I get it. And Jordan is just annoying. But Bobby's kind of inconsequential. He's not important.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I do want to touch on this other inconsequential. I said what I wanted to say at the beginning of the episode. Some of y'all didn't catch the beginning of the live.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you
Coop and
touched
this
on this. Go
damn
ahead.
lady. Y'all can go ahead and say how you
Oh.
feel, honey. Hmm.
Oh wait, I thought you were talking about something else.
Oh, what you thought?
I should.
Oh. Well, I don't. Well, it's a small crumb right now because I feel like it's like pending, but sort of sort of Amina's journey this episode with her mother and sort of
Oh
just
yeah,
the
we're coming back to
speech
that.
and sort of like more just like there's nothing really big there, but I guess it's kind of big because it's kind of like foreshadowing into something that hopefully is like they really get into in one episode. But like just kind of my question was like, girl, what do you really know? And I feel like we got a little bit more of it, but it's like it's still in this vague space of like I feel like I got a little bit more context of like, okay, I think you have a little bit of rose colored glasses on for your mother, but also you might her alluding to like Mo not being able to clean up her reputation before she went. So I'm just more like
Yeah.
it's pending. I am very interested to see how it unfolds, how it unravels, because there was a look shared between Coop and Preach when she was talking about Mo. And I'm just like, okay, we're just good to
We're
know
going
that we're not just
we're
washing it
gonna we're
away.
gonna go into that. I want to go to Coop and
Yeah.
this
Okay,
daggone
okay.
lawyer first, so I can
Oh,
y'all can
okay.
say
I
whatever
didn't
you
know if
want to
you
say
were.
about it. I don't like the actress's acting. That's all I
I
got.
think the
Mm,
lawyer lady is interesting because who's listening to Coop? Nobody had Coop on their playlist past 2016, so that alone is suspicious.
Shy, please.
I don't even care. Like I stopped caring about Coop a long time ago. It is what it is. I think they'll probably cheat. Patience is coming back next episode, so we'll see what happens.
Micah, now she'll probably cheat. Um,
I mean, they've been putting people in between Patience and Coop for years now. This is no different.
But Coop
it's
has to at some point decide that she don't want to be the problem no more. She was quite literally
That's
always the
true.
problem. So like for me, if Coop winds up cheating, I'm like, did you do all of that to get this girl back and realize, oh my God, you the love of my life, only to still be raggedy?
Which you're a
And this is,
professor nonetheless.
I'm
I think this
just
is the end.
like, girl. Yeah, to Erica's point, I'm gonna feel like, girl, we never left that dock with you and because you quite
Yep.
literally haven't changed.
At
Uh,
all.
I'm just, yeah, Erica, to your point, I don't want to say the lady's a bad actor in case she watches this at some point,
Oh
but
God.
I'm struggling to find the connection with her in the screen. I'm gonna say that.
It's how she delivering her
Um,
lines for me. The way she's delivering
I
her
don't.
lines is taking me out.
It,
Maybe she needs
yeah.
time. Maybe she needs
Mm,
time. You know?
I
I
did.
don't.
Y'all said that this is Breezy's actual girlfriend though, so that would explain
Yeah,
things.
Well,
that's her
yeah.
Really?
girlfriend. I didn't pay
Oh,
enough.
nepotism.
I didn't pay
I
enough attention to know
I
what was happening.
don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of whatever this is. I feel like this is a side quest that nobody cares about. It is very weird that this lady is your professor. Like, Coop, be so serious. You're in the office with her, sipping on cognac while she's listening to one of your old songs from high school. Like, I just can't. Like, it's so. I don't care.
Weird.
I don't
Yeah.
care. And I just feel like if this is just some side quest to break you and Patience up for the umpteenth time, I don't want to hear nothing about Coop and Patience no more.
Yeah.
Like, enough.
And
Because
I feel
I
like
just,
if it's
I'm not,
not,
it's not interesting what's going on with
yeah,
Coop and this lady. Nobody cares.
if it's
That's how
not
I
in
feel.
relation, if it's not in relation to Amina, I don't need to see Coop on my screen. Like I don't care. You don't have to
Period.
be like the lawyer thing, this whole side thing, and I think that this is where the writers are kind of like it's a bit iffy in terms of the old cast and the new cast and everything. It's like you had the whole episode and everything was great, and then you had these one-off scenes where it's just like, why are we here? Why? It just didn't. If it's not in relation to Amina, Preach, something to do with that, they can keep it. Patience and
Yeah.
her could break up. They could stay together. At this point, it won't even matter.
For
Yeah.
me,
And I
like,
just think
what's
to
the
that,
lesson? Like, how, what's the lesson with how this story is gonna play out? You know, like, why? My question is, why should I care about this? And I don't think they've given enough to pique my interest as to why I should care. I just think it's weird.
yeah, I'm like to Mike and yeah, to Mike and Shai's point, I just feel like. And also, I don't like the way that it's like kind of leaning towards it being like this sinister thing about, yeah, she's your professor. Like, I just don't like the story because then just the conversation with Coop and Preach, like, I'm more worried about your professor. Like, I don't like the way that it feels. Like, it kind of feels predatory, but like Coop is a grown adult at this point. So it's not, but I don't like it. I think it's unnecessary. It feels very much like a side quest we didn't ask for that could be taking us in a direction that nobody asked for because nobody cares. If it's not in relation to the new characters, then I really don't care about what Coop has going on. And quite frankly, no shade, but I haven't cared for a while about what's going on with Tamia.
Thank you. We don't
I
care.
mean,
So
it could be predatory in the fact that I think there are policies in place where like you can't really date a student while you're teaching the student. So if anybody is looking at this, like if somebody would have like mistakenly walked into her office, you know, and saw them drinking together at that time, even though it's office hours, like you technically have to have boundaries with your student. So unless you're planning on going to HR, you know, to let this be known, you can't really, even though they're both adults and they can both consent, you can't as a professor really just jump into a relationship with your student while you're still teaching them. If it's after the semester ends, you guys connect and you start to date, that's different. But while you're still the professor, there's a power dynamic there and like certain lines that becomes gray that you can't really cross. So if the show isn't planning on addressing that, then I don't know why they would introduce the story this way and especially have Preach speaking that way.
exactly, which
So,
is why I'm like, we don't even need to go down this road. I'm not a fan that this is even like these are like possibilities we're talking about a story that nobody asked for. So quite literally, cut it. I don't
And
care.
like Coop is equally as kind of obsessed. I mean, she was like stalking the lady,
she
so
was.
like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, that's the
cheat, don't cheat,
consensus.
sleep with her, don't sleep with her. It don't matter.
clear if
It will
there.
matter when she lose her job and her license gets revoked.
Oop.
Oh,
As long as
oh,
we,
clock it, clock
as
it.
long as it doesn't take away any time from an actual important story, I don't care.
I'm wondering if this could also be something that is used to make Chelsea's official exit.
Ugh,
Mm,
maybe.
Mm.
Which is
it might
just
be.
sad. We need to hold another repass to the repass because the way that patience has been done in this show, I have permanent beef for life. This is terrible.
Diabolical. All right,
Oh,
now we
yeah.
can go back to Amina and um Amina and Mo. I agree, Naya. I think. Oh no, you didn't actually make a definitive statement, so I can't even say I agree. I think that
No.
Amina knows a lot more than what we thought she knew, as it pertains to Mo.
Yes, correct. That's yeah. I have that same consensus. It just like and it kind of came unexpected this episode. Like I didn't know that they were going to sort of make a reference to Mo and that would be such a huge emotional impact on Amina this episode. Um and it wasn't, you didn't necessarily have like the conversations I think we're waiting for um coming down the line, but it served as sort of a foreshadowing and more context of what she does know, and that she doesn't necessarily see her mother as a saint, but she does have some admiration and has her mother on a pedestal based off of the connection and the bond that they had. And so that was just interesting of like, okay girl, like, okay, so you know a little bit more than I thought you did, and
I
it
think
just
she's
makes
on
it
a.
more interesting.
I think she's on a pedestal, not even just because of the connection that they had, but because of death bias. Like
Yeah, that
once
Yeah,
too.
somebody dies, it's just like, can you really speak honestly about the dead?
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't speak ill
True.
of
And
the
it's
dead.
like the whole episode, I was kind of just like, Amina needs a reality check. Mo was again like she's not a good person. Somebody needs to hit her upside the head. But like I thought that Amina was seeing her mom as this hero because she didn't know anything, but she does know things, and so you know, well, I don't know what she knows, but you know something. You know she wasn't a good person all the time, but at the same time, you still want to put her as that person. So it's kind of like usually people pedestalize their parents not knowing who they are, but she knows who her mom is. She just doesn't care, and I guess that's.
I think the T though is that she does care, and now that we're
Hmm.
unpacking it,
I
because I
think she
didn't give a
doesn't
lot of thought to it,
care.
Yeah.
I think that her wanting to atone for her mom could have something to do with her needing to get to a place of peace and wanting to believe all of the things that she's saying about her mom. She could still resent who she was, and her needing to like set the narrative straight or make things right could be that could be what Amina's doing for herself in addition to her mom, but not necessarily realizing it. And I know that we don't have the specifics, but for me, the moment of that she said that my mom, it was complicated and she made choices that she was never able to fix. I feel like okay, she
Hmm.
knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
That
you
was
know,
that.
I give it to the writers because in that moment, I felt bad for Amina. Like I was choking up, but I was also rolling my eyes because I'm just like, I feel like I'm being gaslit to think that Mo was a good person. I'm like, are we like, am I being punked right now? I'm like, I'm choking up because like I understand from Amina's perspective, but I'm just like, are we talking about the same person that was a terrorist to the entire community, that was trying to get people sentences that they did not deserve? Like, are we talking about that Mo? And you have newspaper clippings about her. Like, none of the stuff that Mo was accused of didn't come up in any of that research, So I was kind of caught off guard, like on balance with that whole scene and how to feel about it.
But you know what? That brings up a very like it just something popped up in my brain of like it's so interesting. Like I think I mentioned like with this new iteration or this refresh, it feels like maybe the writers are trying to right some wrongs. And I feel like like in Amina's speech and sort of this debate of like what she knows and what she doesn't know about Mo, and to your feeling shy about feeling gaslit, but also feeling for Amina, I feel like the writers maybe in this way are trying to right the wrong of what could have been done with Mo's character. Like Mo, I feel like could have been a layered character, but we only got so much and it felt very much pushed in the villainous direction
Hmm.
that we didn't necessarily get the layers of Mo that maybe was intended to begin with. So maybe through Amina, we're getting more of like the dichotomy of like who she appeared to be in different spaces, the actions that she took, her intentions, like the layeredness I feel like is coming out through Amina in a way that we didn't get with Mo's character because like I just don't feel like it was ever fully fleshed out. So I don't know if that makes sense.
We were
But
set up honestly. I thought when Mo was introduced, we were set up for Mo to be what Marquis is now, but we
right.
didn't get that.
Nope. Yeah. So that's exactly my point. Yeah, like I think it's this kind of it's this backwards brilliance with the writers right now of like I don't know if they're intentionally like trying to like write things differently or like in my words right wrongs, but in a way they're doing that because most character through like Amina and even like the juxtaposition of like what we knew her to be and what Preach and Coop saw her as, like that is like that dichotomy is playing out like because of Amina and like that being her mother and now she's older and like we're following Amina. So it's very interesting of like maybe we're gonna finally unpack Mo the way she was intended to like be when she was presented to us way back when and we just didn't get the opportunity to really flesh her out in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
fun.
Mo
And
character, like she gets no sympathy from me, and like it's not. I don't think it's a character that's necessarily redeemable, but we can appreciate that she was a mom, and for Amina, she was a good mom. That's what Amina said. She was a good mom, and so we can feel bad for Amina in terms of you did lose a mother, even though your mother was horrible, but you can like see that and like feel bad for me and you can like really respect the fact that she wants to not only I don't know what she knows about her mom, but she using what she knows, she still wants to kind of spread a light onto her mom's memory.
Yeah.
And I guess you can kind of respect that because
mhm.
that like moms and daughters, that's a close bond right there.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
in
And
that case, yeah,
I think I'll appreciate the story. I'm giving it time to see how it plays out. But as long as they don't do too much revisionist history to try to like lessen the blow that Mo had on the community, because just like how, Amina lost a parent and we're seeing her struggle with that. We don't know how many young kids in the community actually are going through the same exact things because of the actions that Mo did, right? Because for every good, she did a bad, and that also has an impact, right? So I appreciate them showing us the duality of Mo and like the impact of a victim and a child that loses a parent, even if that parent was a terrible person, as long as we don't go back to rewrite history to make it seem as though what Mo did wasn't as impactful as it was, because in that moment in that history, what she did was terrible. Like many
yeah,
people in that community was touched by her, right? And one what if one of her schoolmates was a victim of Mo, like her family was a victim of Mo or her cousin, and confronts her with that? How are you now going to deal with that? Those are very real things that I hope they don't push under the rug to aid Amina's story in that way, if that makes sense.
It does.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, to add to that, like just to wrap it up, like, um, I do think that Preach and Coop being very real figures there, that they represent that. They represent the hurt that Mo caused. And um the menace that she was. So I think Amina serves as bringing the duality to Mo, and Preach and Coop serve as sort of, well, no, like this is what she was to us. um and kind of represents sort of, the terror that she was to other people. So I feel like that's sort of like, however they choose to play that out, like coming up, sort of when the Preach and the Coop and the Amina and the Mo of it all comes to a full head. Like I feel like that's going to be the two different sides of it. um and sort of where Amina falls in the end is going to be interesting depending on how they write it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like even like whenever that conversation does come up, because we don't know how much she knows, but let's say that she doesn't know exactly a lot in terms of all that Mo did, and I don't want them to do it in a way that they're trying to make her hate her mom, because Mo was a bad person. She was horrible, but at the same time, like that was her mom, and that's like something you gotta tell. Like she can know what her mom did, but also be able to still appreciate the moments that she had. Her mom, Mo, wasn't Mo when she was with Amina, if that makes sense. She wasn't the
Yeah.
big
And we're gonna have
person.
to see. We're just gonna have to see. Like
Yeah.
at this point, we don't know how they're gonna write any of it.
Right.
And we're gonna have to see. I thank y'all so much. I gotta get ready to go because I have to get ready for another live in a short bit. So I have to go ahead and end it here. But this was a great conversation as always, and I've missed you, Sha. Welcome back, bro.
Yes,
Wow.
Jack, come back. Come back.
Thank you to everybody else who also joined. Shout out to Antonio who was in the chat earlier today. Everybody who was making it work at work. Kofi, John, the Lawrence Report. I appreciate everybody. Whether you called in or you did not, hopefully you enjoyed the conversation just as much as we did. Check the replay and the chat, and look out for my breakdowns. See y'all in the next one.
I
I cannot lie, wish you were here all the time. I wanna feel your touch. I wanna touch.
Hi, I'm Tori.
Amina, you know, I've seen you cheer when our teams have played each other over the years. You're a beast.
Was a beast. I've heard about you too. Running for Tuco Press, right?
Yeah.